What's up, level uppers? Welcome to the Level Up Show, episode 285. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I am your host tonight, Andrew. I make the show Midori. I'm going solo tonight. No Vince, no tech guru tonight to help me out, unfortunately. But we still have a packed show to get through, so I'm going to do my best to handle this all by myself. What's going on? We got Guitar Freak in the room. We got Nate Dogg. We had an awesome pre-show there. Let's talk about this. We got Guitar Freak with the Tier 2 resub. 47 months, just 1 month away from 4-year anniversary. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Guitar Freak. We got Thunderous Quiet with his sub anniversary. He's at 37 months. And Diclonius Games coming in here. Jose with 34 months through Twitch Prime, which is awesome. That again, you're choosing us for your Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. LOL Brouhaha is in the room. And coming in first tonight was Thunderous Quiet? Who was first tonight? It was Thunderous Quiet. Way to go, man. How are we all doing tonight? We got 8 people in the room. Saturdays, still our new night, so we got to gradually build up viewership on Saturdays. Hopefully you can get up into the 30s tonight. Let's see, and maybe the 40s. And that's sort of like my goal right now on Saturdays is just to get somewhere in like the 30 to 40 range. And then maybe we can get back up into the 50s eventually once we get new people in here and we get our old viewers coming in on Saturdays. Once again, Farsandor, welcome. Tobes, welcome. Let's get that TV in so we can check out the chat here. How is everybody doing? How was everybody's Thanksgiving? I hope everybody had a great holiday. Hope everybody was safe. Hope everybody had a great Black Friday. Whether you went out or you shopped online, hope everything went well for you. I didn't really do too much shopping myself. I worked on Friday since I just started, as we talked about last week. I just started. It's my second week at my new job, so I'm on a probationary period. I wasn't going to be able to take a holiday, and they don't give Black Friday off at the place I currently work at. So I did a little bit of shopping during my lunch break on Friday, and got a few things for the wifey, but I didn't get anything for myself this year. I don't think. Did I? No, I didn't. I did not get anything for myself. I didn't even go onto PlayStation Store and grab myself Devil May Cry 5 like I wanted to. I was planning on doing that because it was less than 20, but I didn't. I don't know if that already ended. Probably did. What about you guys? Let me know in the chat. Let's hear your holiday hauls, your Black Friday hauls. What did you go with? Guitar Freak says, I just bought an Insignia 58-inch 4K TV for $200, and it came with an Amazon Echo Dot for free. That's pretty awesome. That's a good one, though. Parsoner got Sekiro, finally. Awesome. Sekiro is still up there for me. One of my favorite games of the year. Let's see, what else? I guess an hour earlier, too. Yeah, Guitar Freak, that is right. We were doing it at 9 o'clock, which is what it seemed like the viewers wanted when I was polling. When we were on Sundays, I asked, like, what would be a good day and time? And it seems like most people wanted Saturdays starting an hour earlier. So that's what I went with, and hopefully it works out in the long run. Code Vein for Derek, the 9 Fox. How you doing, Derek? Welcome to the show. Dirk is here, founder and #1 sub gifter of the month. I bought my mom some earphones. What'd you go with, Thunder Squat? I saw, I think it was Ghost Games, or a Hooded Reaper, as he's called now, on our Discord. I think he got one of the HyperX headsets for like $60 or something like that, and said it sounds amazing. I'm just not somebody that cares enough, I don't think, about audio quality. Or maybe I just don't notice it enough. I care, but maybe my ears just don't pick up on that as well as a lot of people do. Not an audiophile, I guess you could say. Yeah, so I'm going to lower my voice a little bit. I'll say what I got for Kristen. I got Kristen a t-shirt that she's been wanting for a while that says, I'm pretty cool, but I cry a lot. I got that for Kristen. I also got her, she's been talking about this air fryer. Have you guys heard about these? They're called air fryers, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It will give your fries that crispy, taste and like texture without using oil. Is the gist essentially. So I got her an air fryer. I also got her some replacement earrings for her favorite earrings. She just lost one of them the other day. So I got her a replacement set of those. What else did I get her? I got her one other thing. Oh, I got her, it was a something personalized. I'm drawing a blank on it now. What was it? I did like a personalized mall gift type thing. And I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I remember now. So Kristen's been wanting to get into like engraving things, embossing things, specifically spoons for some reason. Like that was like her thing that she really wanted to get into, was getting one of those like hammer sets where you hammer like letters into something, and she wanted to do it with spoons because she like really liked the idea of having like a teaspoon or a coffee spoon every morning and looking at it and having it say something inspirational or something that makes you happy, and that would be like the way you start your day. So I found somebody that does this on Etsy, and I personalized a spoon with a Wonder Woman logo, and it just says I'm amazing, because that's something that Kristen likes to think about herself. Like sometimes like when she has like a good day or she feels like she like killed it as a mom, she'll just be like, I'm amazing. And so I decided to get her a spoon that has a Wonder Woman logo, since that's her like idol, and it just says I'm amazing on it. That's what I went with so far. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else yet, but I don't really get the difference in audio quality myself. So as long as my headset is a Sony branded headset, I'm happy. Why Sony branded? Because you feel like that's the best quality for you, or just because of some type of corporate fanboyism? Juicy Jilly, how you doing? Tobe says, I got my mom a new iPad. Nice. Which one you go with? You go with like the newest iPad, Tobes, or go with like an older version? Which I wouldn't blame you at all. That's what you did. Oh, nice. I have a HyperX Cloud Core headset. Yeah, so I don't really know. Is like HyperX high quality in headsets? I honestly wouldn't know. I'm not wearing it right now. I just use like the single earbud on the Level Up show. But you guys know I have the PlayStation Gold headset, and it works well enough for me. I'm happy with it. Specifically PlayStation, it's what works best with PlayStation, at least from my experience. That makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't know, but that makes sense. Since you're on PlayStation so often, you're not using it on like computer games or anything like that. Might as well go with the one that links up with your console of choice. And then on top of that, they all come with aux cables anyway. So if you want to just hook it up to your monitor when you're playing a PC game, it's pretty easy to do that. So if you don't mind cords, I don't mind cords personally too much. You can see I've got my cord here. Doesn't bother me too much. Anyway, let's get into it. As I said, I'm doing this solo tonight, so I'm going to be moving somewhat quickly and trying my best not to give you guys any dead air. So let's get into what I've been playing this week. And you guys have seen it probably. I did my actually 2 nights of Death Stranding this week. One I did off stream. On Monday night, I played a little bit myself because I've been trying to do a little bit of the game off stream to make sure I can actually finish it in my lifetime. And then you guys saw a little bit more of Mama's Tale, Chapter 5 on Wednesday. And that was pretty emotionally touching, wasn't it? I don't know who was there for that. I know some of you were. And I don't want to spoil it just in case you are dodging the streams and wanting to play it yourself, but yeah, that character segment, which I think is really cool about Death Stranding, is each chapter is a character. So, you'll have Dead Man, you'll have Die Hard Man eventually, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll have Heart Man eventually. We have now had Mama and her sister. And again, I don't want to go into too much detail on that, but I really like the structure of that. I like that each chapter is focused on one specific character. It kind of reminds me of Lost, actually, especially the first season. In the first season of Lost, each episode, and actually continuing on after that as well, but specifically in the first season when you're getting to know the characters, each episode is dedicated to a character and their flashbacks and given their origin or how they got to the island or whatever. Does it have Waterman? No, it does not have Waterman, unfortunately. Liquid Man, I think is what you would actually call it in Hideo Kojima fashion. So it reminds me of Lost in that way. And I really like the structure of it. And I'm excited for Heartman in a big way. And I'm excited for Die Hard Man just because I've heard his performance, especially endgame wise, is like absolutely fantastic. Should have been nominated for Game Award. So I'm excited to see like what leads up to that, like what type of emotional storyline is going to be told for him. But yeah, I've become pretty invested in several of the characters, so much so that moment in Chapter 5 that I'm referencing got me a little bit like I was on stream, so I wasn't letting myself completely go, but I was feeling a little bit of a tickle in the eye. So that's good. That's what I like to see in these games. Hideo Kojima coming with the emotional, heavy scenes. Far Center says, "Oh yeah, I bought Man of Steel as my first Ultra HD. Is it Ultra HD? I think it's what it is, right? It is beautiful. Yeah, I don't even have the capability to play anything Ultra HD as far as like on disc goes. I have a PS4 upstairs. I have the Pro down here, but even the Pro doesn't do it. Now I think about it, PS4 Pro doesn't have a Ultra HD drive. So yeah, I have no option there. But I will say, even running it streaming on the 4K TV through the TV apps, I notice a difference. I can see the 4K. It's pretty awesome. Razor, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Good to have you here. Did I miss anybody in the chat? Aux cords, lol. Yeah, I'm a pleb, going old school with the aux cords. And Tobe's got the 10-inch regular iPad. Target has it for $229. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, so I'm still going to keep going with Death Stranding. And I want to do Star Wars for sure. That's like without a doubt I want to do Star Wars, but I just wonder when I'm going to start it. And if I'm going to cut the cord, pun intended, on Death Stranding to get to it. Just because it's taking so long. It sucks. It sucks. I really would have liked to have finished the game before the full-time dream ended, but wasn't in the cards for me. So, I don't know. Might have to just get to Star Wars, play that on stream, and then keep doing Death Stranding off stream, because I'm not sure you guys are going to want me to gradually trickle through Death Stranding at a snail's pace for weeks and weeks. Cut the cord on the BB. Yeah, unfortunately. That's the other thing that happened. I finished Mama's Tale, and I got into Dead Man. And again, I don't want to go into spoilers too much, but that guy's pissing me off, man. The way he treats BB is not okay. I'm about to slap a bitch. That guy sucks. Played by Guillermo del Toro. At least the likeness of Guillermo del Toro. It's not the voice actor. But holy shit, I just want to like reach in his screen and grab this guy and stop shaking the damn baby. What are you doing? You don't shake a baby. I don't care what it is, if it's a tool or what. Stop shaking the damn baby. Not okay. All right, so that's what I've been playing this week. Let me know what you guys have been playing this week in the chat. Before I get into TLUS has no game here, just a quick spiel Druckmann for you guys. We're getting close to 20 people in the room. We've got 19 right now. You guys can help me out in getting more people in here by sharing the show. You can either type !share in the chat or ! retweet. Both of those send out a message on the Twitterverse to get more people in here. But you could also use Facebook, Discord communities. You could use Twitch itself and other channels, although I don't recommend that unless you want to host or whatever. Just whatever you want to do. I appreciate anything you guys can do to help get new people in the room, or to remind old people that I'm now on Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, the prize wheel is active. Anything worth $5 or more will give you a spin of the prize wheel. That means subbing, resubbing, pledging on Patreon, sharing, tipping, hosting for 10 viewers or more, Twitch Prime subbing, sub-gifting, community sub-gifting. All of those give you a spin of the prize wheel. And we have our after show ready to go. Goal at the bottom of the screen. I will stick around for an extra half hour if we get to our $30 tip goal. That is after show entirely devoted to talking with you guys in the chat. No agenda whatsoever. Media share active for $1 or more. And it's a little bit difficult for me to focus on the chat when I am, going through the agenda and trying to discuss the stories. So that's why after show is a pretty cool thing. And I'll even do an hour-long after show if we get to a $60 stretch goal for tips. Gears 5 is what I have been playing, says Thunder's Quiet. It's funny, a lot of people were very disappointed that Gears 5 was not nominated for Game of the Year on the Game Awards. I wasn't expecting it whatsoever, so I'm a little surprised some people were. Far Center still on Modern Warfare. Raiden V and DJ Max Respect. Those two last ones I actually don't know anything about. Spent most of the weekend dealing with my cat. Hope your cat's okay. Healthy. Hopefully it's nothing related to that. And Wolf Yi is on Jedi Fallen Order. What do you think of it, Wolf Yi? Is it falling somewhere in Game of the Year contention for you? Because it is for a lot of people. It sucks. It seems like it didn't fall within the boundaries of Game of the Year or nominations whatsoever for the Game Awards. So It sucks because I don't think it's going to get recognition next year on the Game Awards. It missed it. Missed that cutoff. Trish the Dish. Welcome to the show. Johnny Poolside's new here. What is this thing about? Well, we talk about our favorite videos on Pornhub, pretty much. You know, like top 10 of the week kind of thing. Categories that you've been perusing, things like that, you know. So Johnny, go ahead and let us know your top 10 videos of the week on Pornhub, and you know, maybe some new categories you're testing out, experimenting with. We always like to check out new categories recommended by the viewers. Oh, cat keeps having seizures. Jeez, that's not good, Wolfie. Sorry to hear that. Hope everything works out for you. Asha Rakal, welcome to the show. Definitely in the right spot then. Johnny, you are in good company. You'll do just fine here. Anyway, let us get into the official non-gaming portion of the show. It's called The Level Up Show Has No Game. We're going to do 3 non-gaming topics at 2 minutes each. Let's do this. First up in TLES Has No Game. DC Films are plotting the future. We've got a bunch of updates here on DC Films. First off, let's talk about Birds of Prey. So spin-offs a la Birds of Prey could be happening for some of the cast of The Batman. So far for The Batman, we have Paul Dano as the Riddler. We have Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman. We have Colin Farrell, heavily rumored, as the Penguin, Cobblepot. And we have a few others as well. We have Carmine Falcone, just announced last week. Damn, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name from The Big Lebowski. Great actor. So we've got a great cast there, and maybe they'll do some Joker-esque origin stories. What? Oh, we've got a big tip coming in here. $10 from Bianca Devereaux. Is this again a reference to a Golden Girl? We'll have to dive into this in a little bit. So that's one thing. Another thing that's happening that I think could be really exciting. Superman will be rebooted with tentative talks with Michael B. Jordan as Kal-El. As far as I know, Kal-El, not like a non-Kal-El Superman. We're talking about Kal-El, Michael B. Jordan, with J.J. Abrams set to direct. J.J. Abrams coming off of Star Wars to do Superman, that would be monstrous. That would be absolutely insane if that actually happens. So that's pretty exciting. Films in the immediate to near future include The Flash, The Trench, which is an Aquaman spinoff, Aquaman 2, and Green Lantern Corps is another one. Here's an update. No Snyder Cut will be released, is what this says. Logistically, there's a little appetite at the studio for spending the millions of dollars it would require to finish visual effects and editing work on Snyder's version, particularly as Justice League was a commercial disaster, it says here. So not a lot of appetite there to be spending the millions of dollars necessary to make it happen. So just give it up, guys. Give it up. The Suicide Squad, the new one by James Gunn, the reboot, if you want to call it that, will have an R rating. According to this. Awesome. I'm excited for it. I think James Gunn can do this. I think there's a lot of potential here for this to be an awesome new franchise for WB. James Gunn knows how to do dysfunctional family stuff, clearly from Guardians of the Galaxy, and Suicide Squad is kind of that. It's a dysfunctional group of villains working together. So I think they could make that work. And then finally, HBO Max DCEU shows will be a thing, looking at relative unknowns, and they want to keep the budgets under $65 million. So right now, one example is Green Lantern. Rumors are that they're going to be doing a live-action Green Lantern on HBO Max. So a lot of exciting stuff to come for DC. Hopefully, they get things back on track. Moving on from that, let's talk about Star Wars. J.J. Abrams has revealed his favorite prequel trilogy scene, and it is up on screen right now. The Darth Plagueis scene. Quote from J.J. Abrams: "I think my favorite scene from the prequels is when the Emperor is telling Anakin the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. There's just something about that scene," Abrams shared with SiriusXM. Quote, "There's just two people sitting there. It's visually interesting, but I think it's Ian McDermott's performance in it that is spectacular." Put this up big here. This is actually probably my favorite scene as well. It felt like George Lucas suddenly had this artistic epiphany is really what comes to mind. It was incredibly well acted by Ian McDiarmid. Anakin doesn't talk a lot, which is good. He just makes facial expressions, which he can do. He does just fine with his facial expressions. But also the visuals sort of symbolizing an egg and sperm, which they're alluding to as well with the creation of life through the Force and what ultimately comes to be known as the Senator impregnating Shmi with the Force to create Anakin. Anakin is created by Palpatine using the Force to impregnate Shmi. So this is all visualized through the opera that they're watching. Get dunked on, Hayden Christensen. Here's the thing. I think Hayden Christensen is not a terrible actor, actually. I've seen him be a good actor. It's just that he had terrible stuff to work with in Star Wars. So it is what it is. So yeah, I agree. I think J.J. Abrams is onto something there. And it also makes me wonder if him bringing up Darth Plagueis as his favorite scene means that Darth Plagueis might come into Rise of Skywalker in some way. Speaking of Rise of Skywalker, it is tracking to make $210 million opening weekend domestically. That is a little bit lower than The Last Jedi. So why is that? Is it because of saturation of the Star Wars and people are just kind of tired of it? Or is it because The Last Jedi hurt the franchise a little bit? Either way, I mean, if it makes $10 million less, it's still $210 million domestically. Like, I doubt Disney is sweating that. It's like, oh no, we're only going to make $1.3 billion on this film. It's like, come on, I'm sure they're just fine with that. And finally, here's another quote here. When I arrived on this new Star Wars trilogy, there was a general plan for the 3 films. I focused on The Force Awakens as there was a deadline, J.J. Abrams says. I couldn't project myself beyond this film while working on it. Rian Johnson saw what we were making. We had a meeting. He followed his inspiration, but he didn't undo the things we were thinking about. I'm insisting on it. There was a general plan, but no fully written script for episodes 7, 8, and 9. So J.J. Abrams says that there was an overall plan for this trilogy, which goes against a little bit of what Rian Johnson said. So who to believe? Was there a plan? I hope there was. And finally, probably gonna have to move through this pretty quickly, or at least not do the full 3 minutes, because this isn't really a big story, but exciting news. We have 4 big trailers dropping this week. First one, up on screen right now, Wonder Woman is going to be getting its sequel, 1984, and the trailer supposedly will be dropping next week. This comes as a rumor from Daniel Reitman. He is an editor, I think, for I don't know what he is exactly. He just has insider information. He has like 70,000 Twitter followers, and he's not typically somebody that lies about this shit. So I think we could trust it. He says, quote, we're getting Bond, Black Widow, Wonder Woman 1984 next week. And also look for another Birds of Prey trailer. Hell yeah. So No Time to Die, specifically, is the new Bond movie. Black Widow, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984. Let's put a poll in the chat here. Which trailer are you most excited for? Never trust Ryan, he sucks. I love Rian Johnson. I'm seeing Knives Out tomorrow night. So screw you, Johnny. You're not welcome here. Go watch your porn somewhere else, or talk about your porn somewhere else. I'm also very excited for Wonder Woman 1984 to see like the direction that goes, and it's still Patty Jenkins, who did a wonderful job on Wonder Woman when it released several years back. And I just want to see the visual differences between this one and 1984, because it's 1984, and we've seen the poster with her having the full golden
you can
gear.
Eat my dirty asshole with a spoon, because I fucking hate you.
It's true, I do. I am not excited for Birds of Prey. Not at all excited for that one. To see this new trailer, because I just have the strongest feeling it's gonna be awful. If it's not awful, great. I'm excited if it's not awful, but I just have a very strong feeling it's gonna be awful. No Time to Die, the final Daniel Craig Bond movie. So just for that alone, it's kind of exciting. The end of an era, I guess you could say. And I thought Daniel Craig was fantastic as Bond, probably my favorite Bond. And lastly, Black Widow, which I'm surprised at. I didn't realize that this was even being filmed yet. So this is further along than I thought it was. I knew like the cast that they had and somewhat of the story they were going for. And I remember seeing the artwork at Comic-Con, which looked badass. But I had no idea that it was filming currently. So cool. I almost wonder, and I've said this before on the show, I almost wonder if they retcon Endgame to get Nat back into the Avengers, considering everything that's going on with Jeremy Renner. So, hey, look at that. Somehow I did find a way to fill out 3 minutes. And you guys in the chat, looks like we've got all 1s and 2s, which means Black Widow and Wonder Woman 1984. I am not surprised at that. Wonder Woman 1984 wins with 4 votes. And that is TLUS has no game. Let's go to chat here a little bit, see if I missed anything. Oh, let's see. I know a few family members who aren't watching the movie, unfortunately, because of Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker could still be good. Rise of Skywalker is going to be awesome. Let's be honest. It's going to be great. No doubt about it. It's because of the last movie, and the leaks that keep coming out are making the plot horrible. Leaks are... It doesn't mean anything. The entire Joker script leaked, and everybody thought it was awful based on the script. Means nothing. A script doesn't mean anything. People read into it whatever their feelings are. If you want the movie to be bad, you're going to read the script as being bad. If you want the movie to be good, you're going to read the script as being good. There's a lot of confirmation bias when it comes to these leaked scripts. So I don't care at all about that. And I don't know what the leaked script says. And I won't look into it at all. I would like to go into that film as blind as I possibly can. Bar Center says, I just want DC to make Superman relevant again. Good luck with that. No, I'm sure they will eventually. Right now, I'm all about Batman. That's all I care about. I'm just all about Batman. I want it to be awesome. Oh, and also this is Blanche Devereaux, not Bianca. Blanche Devereaux tipping $10. Thank you so much to Blanche. Who are you? Who's Blanche? What is going on here? And is that another Golden Girl? And yeah, Kate Bishop is on tap, as Asher Call says in the chat, for replacing Hawkeye. They've got a direction they can go in easily to replace Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. Question is if they do it or not. No, She Is Gone is going to take place after Civil War, and she goes back to Budapest and deals with Taskmaster. I know what the story is, Wolf Yee, but that doesn't mean they can't surprise us with a twist at the end. They could easily surprise us. Or it doesn't even have to be in this Black Widow movie. They could do it through something else as well. Doesn't mean that they can't bring her back. It would be easy, honestly. They have an easy direction they could go in if they want to bring Nat back. And Blanche Devereaux is a Golden Girl. It's been confirmed. So it is the same person as last week who tipped $10. Confirmed. We have somebody impersonating Golden Girls and tipping lots of money. $10 on our way to our stretch goal. Actually, let me fix that, actually. Because it's currently set for 150 down there. That's why it looks like such a small slither. They have 2 Black Widows in the movie already. That's true, right? Yeah. The other one played by Poog, right? I think it's Poog or Pug. That's her last name. What's her first name? I forget. She was in Midsommar, and she was great in that. She was really good in that. That was a freaking weird movie, by the way. Same director as Hereditary. I didn't like it as much as Hereditary. It was good, not great, is what I would on that one. And there we go. That looks more accurate. $10 of our $30 stretch goal for a 30-minute after show. We're 33% of the way there. Thank you so much to Blanche Devereaux for setting us on our way. And moving on from that, let's get into our new segment on the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's called How You Reviewing. You guys can get on our Discord and submit video games for me or the group to review live on the show. This week, we are talking about The Last Guardian. Now, I'm taking this all by myself. We've got 3 categories to go through. The first category is presentation. So this is a Team Eco title. And with a Team Eco title, you get a lot of artistic flair. And that's definitely the case on The Last Guardian. They don't go for super technically impressive games. They go for artistically impressive games. All that being said, holy shit, Trico. Trico is one of the greatest achievements in all of gaming when it comes to creatures, in my opinion. One of my favorite creatures of all time in any video game. It's animation, the way all the feathers move around, the way it interacts with the boy. It is so tangible that you can't not form a connection with this thing. And that is the basis of the game. That is the core of it. That is the story. That is the emotional center. And it delivers on that 100%. I was so invested in this game, in these characters, in this creature, that if you did not know, if you did not see the video, I bawled like a little baby on stream at the end of the game. So, presentation, yes, this game knocks it out of the park. That being said, all those things are great. It does have some problems, especially if you're playing on regular PS4. It can drop down lower than 20 FPS on regular PS4. It stays pretty consistent at 30 on PS4 Pro, but even there, sometimes it'll have its dips. So, you know, it was a game that was meant for PS3 originally. They brought over PS4 because it couldn't be made on PS3. It was just so ambitious that they couldn't get it done on PS3. And probably in the transition and the conversion and all the delays and development hell, it didn't quite get that perfect amount of polish to be like a first-party PlayStation title that doesn't have any hindrances. It does. It has a few. That didn't bother me personally at all, especially because I was on PS4 Pro. The visuals, the artistry, all that still comes through great, and I think you'll very easily be able to overlook it. Even on PS4, I found that most people have said that they've been able to overlook those issues on that console. Moving on from that, let's get into gameplay. It is a relatively simple game, as most Team Ico titles are. You know, with Ico, you are holding a girl's hand, you're doing regular puzzles, and your only weapon is a stick that you can swing at shadow creatures. Shadow of the Colossus is also pretty simple. You grab, you climb, you have a sword, and you have a bow and arrow. Pretty simple. There's 16 boss battles, and you travel the world to get the boss battles. It's sort of what's great about Team Ico titles is their simplicity. And this one, it stays in that arena where you're really just moving this creature around the environment to accomplish puzzles, traversal puzzles. You are never actually controlling Trico. You are controlling the boy and announcing commands at the creature. And what frustrates a lot of people is that the creature doesn't always listen to you at the beginning. But that was an intentional thing. Now, this is a source of a lot of lower scores for this game. Is some people say, I don't care if that's intentional or not. A game not listening to me is a problem. For me, no. It furthered my connection to the creature. The fact that I had to form a connection with him in the game for that creature to start listening to me, for that creature to start to respect me. And as that respect was formed and molded, then suddenly it was getting easier and easier. It was listening to me. It was jumping to where I wanted without me even having to say it. If I looked in the direction of where I wanted to go, suddenly Trico was jumping there. And that development that happened over the course of the game, which is, like a 12 to 15 hour title, enhances the gameplay. Once again, the negatives: camera, pretty wonky, controls, the weight, the floatiness, whatever you want to call that, is that Team Ico floatiness and weightiness. Like it has that same thing going on, similar to Shadow of the Colossus, where it's almost intentionally clunky. I like it. Some people will not. And that's okay. Finally, let's talk about impact. I'm currently trying to put together a Games of the Generation tournament for us to do on the show. And as much as I think some people wouldn't want this title in there, I had to put it in the bracket. Because for me, this is a top 10 Game of the Generation for me. For all of its flaws, some of them very obvious, for all those flaws, it is one of the most memorable games of my entire life. I have never cried so hard at a video game. And I think for that reason alone, the impact that it had on me makes it a Game of the Generation. I know that it's flawed. I know that it has its issues, but in the end, I am more about, is it going to stay with me? Has it emotionally affected me? do I feel impacted by this game? And this is one of those games. Every Team Ico title has done this for me. And I actually have a hard time deciding if Last Guardian is above Shadow of the Colossus, if it's above Ico. They're all like on level playground for me. I love all of them equally, but in different ways. This is, as you're about to find out, it is a very high ranking, high scoring title in the generation for me. And I'm very excited for what Team Ico does next. I know that they're probably not going to be PlayStation exclusive from now on, so that concerns me a little bit, not from a fanboyism standpoint. Wait for it. But it concerns me just because I feel like with Sony, they were able to spread their wings and fly. They had no limitations, and Shuhei Yoshida especially really helped them to achieve their artistic vision. So I worry that they're not going to be the Team Ico that I've known and loved for a couple decades now. So, all right, got to come with a score for you guys. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I give this game a 9 out of 10. It is one of my favorite games of the generation. I said top 10. It might even be top 5. It is that strong for me. I love The Last Guardian. And if you are at all into Team Ico titles, then you have to play this game. If you're into emotionally gripping titles, puzzle, traversal titles, got to play this game. Especially on PS4 Pro. Play it on PS4 Pro because it runs very well there. And no review roundup this week. We're getting into a drought a little bit at the end of this year. So no review roundup this week. I don't think anything came out. We had a Marbles Redemption come in from Farsendor. Single race with 500 XP going to the winner. Very, very nice. How about we do some wheel spins, and then I'll pause the recording for those YouTubers watching, and we'll do some marbles before heading to commercial break. All right, so let's do some wheel spins first because we do have 4, I believe, to do. Agent Vincent, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Vince was not supposed to join me tonight because he thought he'd be getting home late, but he's in the chat. Maybe we'll be getting Vince in here earlier than I thought. All right, let's do some wheel spins. First up, we've got to do a Tier 1 wheel spin for Diclonius Games. This one's for you. Jose coming in with 34 months resub. We got 30 XP to the entire room. Way to go, room. After that, we have a Tier 1 Prime resub, 37 months for Thunderous Quiets. Another 20 XP to the entire room. Way to go, room. After that, we've got to go over to Tier 2 for Guitar Freak and for Blanche. So we're going to do 2 spins for each of those. Guitar Freak getting 5 plus 25. That's 30 to the room. And then finally, Blanche coming in with a $10 tippy. We're going to do 2 spins for Blanche as well. 20 plus 5. That's 25 to the entire room.
I'm here to wipe your ass. And it will be
with a wet wipe. Way to go, room. I'm going to pause the recording for all you YouTube guys so that we can do some marbles. And welcome back to all the YouTubers. Recording, unpause, and special announcement, special guest, Agent Vincent, the tech guru, has found a way to join us. Welcome to the show, Vince.
Thank you for having me. Hi,
everyone. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So did you have work tonight? Is that what was going on?
I did have work tonight, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I just thought it was going to be a lot later than what it was, and I just lucked out, essentially is what it was.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too.
Because we still have a lot in the show left to go. Whole lot. But right now, even though I just unpaused the recording, let's go to a short commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll get into the level update. We got a lot of good stuff to discuss this week. So
I'm excited.
Do not go anywhere. We will be back in approximately 90 seconds. Hold on tight, Nate Dogg. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 285. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are enjoying the show at any point, I hope you hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/the Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever I go live every Wednesday with Variety Gaming and every Saturday here with the Level Up Show. We got 21 people in the room. You guys can help us out by sharing the show. You can type in !share in chat or !retweet in the chat. Of course, all those send the show around on the Twitterverse so we can get some more people in here. If we get to that 3-0 mark, we'll do a room spin for you guys. And of course, on top of that, prize wheel is active. Anything worth $5 or more, we'll give you a spin of the prize wheel. That means subbing, resubbing, pledging on Patreon, sharing, tipping, hosting for 10 viewers more, Twitch Prime subbing, sub gifting, and community sub gifting. All those give you a spin. And then we also have our goal at the bottom of the screen. We are 33% of the way there on our 30-minute after show, which is entirely focused on the chat, no agenda, media share active for $1 or more. And you guys can really have a conversation with us during after show. And on top of that, if we get to $60 in tips tonight, we will extend it to a 60-minute after show. As I said earlier, we got Vince here. Vince has joined us. Thank God we've got somebody to go through the level update with me. During the pause portion, he said what he was playing this week, just in case anybody missed that. It was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Finally completed it. What would you give it out of 10, Vince?
Right now, like I said, excuse me, pardon my voice. It would have to sit at a 7 out of 10 with the complete experience. If you take Fate of Atlantis out, it would be a 9 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, depending on how you looked at it with Hidden Blade DLC. But it was a solid experience, but Fate of Atlantis really squandered a lot of the goodwill I think the game had built up to.
That's interesting to me. It's like we're the discussion, like a DLC that you don't have to play lowered the overall score for you.
It's just one of those things because the Fate of Atlantis DLC moves the modern day story forward.
Yeah.
And what it does there is it does the exact same sins. I'm not going to say spoilers outright, but it does pretty much the exact same thing Assassin's Creed 3 did, which was screw over your modern day protagonist in a way. And it was like, now I don't care. Like this person that we're supposed to be developing an interest with right now for the modern day hook, I literally don't care anymore at this point now, because the way the writing is for that scene, for a couple scenes actually with her and everything like that, it was just like, this is stupid. Like it feels like a heel turn about that. And if that makes any sense. So like, it felt like it wasted my time while we were trying to go through it again. It elongated something that didn't need to be elongated, if that makes sense.
I gotcha. I'm just personally of the opinion that DLC, if it's sort of like a self-contained thing, should almost be rated separately from the main game, because the main game, I think has its own score, and the DLC shouldn't affect that main game score for me personally.
The hard thing with this DLC was because this was the first games of the service type Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So
it wasn't like Origins where you had the 2 DLC expansions which continued the story, but they were separate experiences. You went to a separate map in a separate area and it was loaded instant, like that type of stuff. This is more ingrained into the game. So like when I was actually playing my game, I was actually progressing parts of Hidden Blade DLC and Fate of Atlantis at the exact same time I was still doing the main game, if that makes sense. Like it was all integrated in. They're called it, and they're broken up into 3 episodes too. That's what makes it kind of hard, because like it's all interwoven. Like Hidden Blade DLC serves as like the epilogue for the actual past story, whereas Fate of Atlantis actually serves as the epilogue for the modern story. So like it's just one of those, like, I get what you're saying, but like the way it was executed here kind of blurs that line a little bit. It's not like Heart of Stones or Blood and Wine for Witcher, where like they're separate experiences in a way, where like you get some crossover, but like they're separate experiences. It's not like that, in my opinion.
Interesting. Well, before we get into the level update, somebody has called upon a hero. The pterodactyl is needed. Oh God.
You know you love her, Drew.
I don't. I hate her so much. I hate her so damn much. Duroc. How dare you? How very dare you? All right. It wasn't Duroc that needed the pterodactyl, by the way. Somebody else needs a pterodactyl. Let us call upon the pterodactyl. Vince, are you okay?
I'm always entertained by watching that. I'm okay.
I've received word that the turkey was not the only thing that's been stuffed this Thanksgiving at your home.
I don't know where you heard that from. I don't know. Did you hear this from Johnny? Did Johnny tip you off again? Damn it, Johnny.
He called upon the pterodactyl. He just was worried about you. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Johnny needs to stop meddling in my business.
All right, pterodactyl's not needed then.
Pterodactyl's always appreciated, though.
Wolf Yee, have you never seen that before? Is that your first time? I just popped his cherry.
Wow.
Wow.
But why am I always blamed? Yeah, so I got Assassin's Creed finished. I'm working on Star Wars now, though. That's been
nice. How you liking it so far?
The first day was rough. I don't think Duroc or Patricia ever heard me be as negative
What do
as
the
I was
mafia
that
and
day in a
pussies
very
have in
long
common?
time.
One slip of the tongue.
But second
and you're
day
in
after
deep
talking to Mike a
shit.
couple times about it, I'm enjoying the game a lot more for letting it be itself.
God.
I was really trying to make that game play like Sekiro.
Okay.
And it was, don't. There's definitely a lot of issues I have with that, which I think we'll have more of a summary when I actually finish the game, which I think I'm getting close to it. But I've been enjoying it, and it's just a sequel for that game is going to be amazing if they nail it.
I feel like what I'm hearing is that they needed a little bit more time with it.
Yes, that's the thing. There's moments where this game looks next gen and it feels next gen, and then like you'll turn around the hallway and go, "Wow, this looks disgusting." Like
Really?
Wow. A lot of like that's really it's really cool. Cal's hair moves in the wind, but then all of a sudden it will just be this matted, sticky, doesn't move at all type thing.
I heard on Kashyyyk the Wookiees especially don't look so good.
It's weird because like they go from like in cutscenes and certain moments they're like, wow, these actually look really. Then they're like, oh, these are straw people. Like do you remember
these are straw people?
You remember the ghillie suits back from Modern Warfare 4? Like that's how they look. It's weird. Like it's bad.
Did I say to you last week? I can't remember what I did it on. It might have been the Death Stranding stream that I was spoiled on the game.
No.
By a YouTube video title.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was looking up why isn't this not working? I was looking up the trailers for last week just to put together all the videos and whatnot for the Level Up show. And it was the third video down when I searched Fallen Order trailer. So I typed in Fallen Order trailer. The third video down is the final boss battle with the thumbnail showing who it is.
Ugh.
Isn't it like, what the hell is that?
I don't get. I've always been lucky, I guess, with that in a way to where I've never really had to deal with that. But I just don't get it. I just don't get why YouTube thinks that's what people want to see. I think that's what bothers me more than even the person doing it,
making the video, is that YouTube made it the third video.
Yeah, it recommends that and puts that in the search results algorithm of it being the third result that people want to see.
But then on top of that, it had like 2 million views. Why are 2 million people searching the final boss? Like, it just came out. I just don't understand people.
I don't get it for stuff like that. I really don't. Like, that's the thing too, is like, it's just it's fun, and I mean, there's been some really cool surprises. I want to say, it definitely feels like a Star Wars game. It's definitely a very, I mean, I gotta give Respawn some credit. They kind of nailed it. When it comes to terms of the art style, the music in general. Here's one complaint I will tell you though: the game's too fucking quiet for most of the time. Pardon my language. Sorry.
Like no music, you mean?
Yeah, it literally will have moments of where there's no music. Like when
Huh.
you're like just going through like Kashyyyk is a prime example of this. There could be a whole point where you could be like a 15 to 20-minute excursion, not a single tune.
That's a bummer.
S-
Especially
So
in a Star Wars game where the music is so great. But I did hear the music is very strong.
it is
I guess when
very-
it's there.
it's when it's there, but like when you're like say if you die a couple times or like you're in the middle of doing combat, yeah, like there's nothing there. Like I think you've seen the gameplay premiere trailer where they showed the little the facility that's on Kashyyyk. There's literally no music there when you play through it. Nothing. So it's one of those things where it's just kind of like I don't get this at all.
That's weird.
Yes.
That's a bummer. Well, I think I'm really going to love the game once I get around to it. It does sound like it's going to scratch that Soulsborne itch, but in the Star Wars universe, which sounds amazing to me. That sounds freaking awesome. So I'm excited. I'll get around to it very soon. We also had another redemption. We'll wait to do it, but we got another marbles race for 100 XP redeemed by Ashrakal. So before the next commercial break, we will do that one for you. D-Day, welcome to the show. I'm only a few hours in so far, but man, I love it so much. Hoping I keep feeling that way. Bossatron, also welcome to the show. Hoping you're doing well. Forest Andor, gonna lay down. Sounds good. Enjoy your sleep if you do fall asleep.
Good
We'll catch you
night.
next time. Let's get into. Hold on, let me do a timestamp here. Let's get into our weekly discussion of the week's biggest gaming industry news. It is called the Level Update. First up in the Level Update. It's all about Hideo Kojima. And we kind of talked about this for like a split second last week, but not enough. We should have talked about it more.
We
So
should.
the rumors are, or at least even honestly, not even rumors, like he just like
He
flat out
said
said
it.
this himself.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima's next project will, quote, be the scariest horror game. Comicbook.com, which is kind of interesting that comicbook.com is the one taking the story, writes, now that Death Stranding has released on the PS4, Hideo Kojima is on the next project. What this project could be, who knows? In fact, we probably won't know for a while. However, Kojima has recently confirmed he still wants to make a horror game. However, and it looks like he's already preparing for when the inevitability does. Taking to Twitter, Kojima revealed how he's prepared to make the scariest horror game, and it involves watching lots of horror movies. Quote, as to make the scariest horror game, I'll watch the scary movies in order to reawaken my horror soul. The Eye is the Thai horror movie I rent when making PT, or rented when making PT, but was too scary to finish watching. The package is scary, so I rented the disc only. Will I be able to finish watching? It's the weirdest quote ever. I want to do a horror game one day. Yes, of course. I have some new ideas that I think kind of get out there, but I don't know when. I'll have to think about this when I bring this out, said Kojima to Rocket Beans Gaming. Horror, when it comes to movies, you can kind of close your eyes watching a really fearful thing. Games are different than movies. If you close your eyes in a movie, you can make it go away and the movie continues, but it's in games, it's interactive. You have to move forward yourself. Would you enjoy him taking another shot at horror, Vince?
Absolutely. After PT, are you serious?
Right.
Yes, I'd be down for it. And I think it's healthy for his team. I think after being so contrived and so shackled to the military shooter, I think this is good for not only him but also his team and his production studio to flex creative muscles. And horror is a fantastic genre for that. You not only do you have artistic lighting directions and artistic renderings based off, you gotta make goopy and scary stuff,
Right.
but like it also lets your musicians and your music and your sound apart. Like it lets everyone go crazy. It really lets everyone flex their muscles, which I think is really great. I just hope Del Toro is somehow involved again.
That would be awesome.
That
With you
would
there,
be
yeah.
that would be the best thing. I don't need to see Norman Reedus. again, if Norman Reedus wants to continue.
Sure, why not?
But I mean, I honestly think it could be Keanu. I mean, I think those tweets were around the same sort of time frame, so I'm kind of curious about that. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited though.
Here's the thing about Hideo Kojima. He has put horror elements into all of his games so far, really. I would argue Metal Gear Solid has some very strong horror elements at moments, especially 5. Those freaking like zombie dudes. I don't even remember what they're called, the zombie dudes in Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. But Vamp in Metal Gear Solid 2, Psycho Mantis to a certain extent.
Yeah.
The Sorrow in Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, all these games have had these supernatural like horror elements. So, my opinion, put those two together again. If he wants to go more in the horror direction, that's cool. But I still would love to see him go with a little bit more of like an action stealth genre again, or even just action. I just want to see him go action again while also horror. Because that's my concern is if he goes full horror, I don't want to be like running away from things.
Vampire hunting.
The whole game. Like, I'd rather be the one like, you know, going after whatever the threat is. If I have to. Maybe like not like the whole game, but if I have to, I'm ready to defend myself. I'm ready to attack. I don't want, what would be an example? I don't want a Visage. Like, you know, that Resident Evil's fine. Like, where, you know, you can attack back. I just don't want Visage from Hideo Kojima. Or PT, honestly. I don't want PT from Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, I mean, PT was great because of it being not only some of the actual like metaphorical stuff that was actually going on with that game.
Yeah.
It's also, I think that type of horror has kind of run its course now a little bit.
It's
I mean,
definitely getting a little more stale. PT was almost the start of it, and now it feels like there's been 50 copies or inspired by games in that genre or in that subgenre of horror, and it's like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm kind of getting tired of this.
Well, really, Amnesia is the one who kind of started the no defense, you need to run away and hide type deal. But even
I guess specifically the small house you're in, and
okay, yes.
like, you know what I mean? Like, how many
Yes.
games have done that now?
A lot of people have done that. Yes, no, I agree with you. Yeah, you're right. But I think we're kind of both on the same page there. I think that type of horror has kind of run its course, considering the success, a little bit of Resident Evil 7. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but mostly Resident Evil 2 coming back in a really big way. I think we're going to see a lot more of the shift there. I mean, you know, that's how I feel.
Yeah. All right. Whatever he does, I will be there.
I'll be there.
For all of Death Stranding's flaws, not too many of them, honestly, but for its flaws, it's still, you know, it's an event when it comes to gaming, in my opinion, because it's something unique finally in a landscape of monotony and just repetition. It's like, hey, finally something new, something different. Hideo Kojima brings that to the table, and that's always going to excite me. I also forgot to give a shout out here. Derek the Nine Fox was the one that put us above our 30-minute after show. We are at 33:32, which means we are doing it, and we're now working our way up to a 60-minute after show. We just have $27, less than $27 left to get to that. We've also hit our daily tip goal. So once we get to the wheel spin segment, we'll do a high points wheel spin for hitting that daily tip goal. We are 1 sub away from our daily sub goal. No follows yet. If anybody's new here, hit that follow button. If you're enjoying the stream, please become a part of the community. And if you want to do that, even when we're not live, get on our Discord, everybody. I hear Vince doing it. There you go. Discord, and he spelled it wrong. Exclamation point Discord. Go to discord.gg/the Level Up Network and join the community even when I am not live. Moving on. Vince, take it away.
I actually don't. You didn't give me the itinerary.
Oh, so, right, because I didn't think you were going to be here.
I mean, I could mind read you, but I don't know.
No, you can't do that. Let me send it your way.
Yep.
On Discord real quick.
Yep.
Pause your lives, everybody.
It's all right.
And there you go, my man. We are on story B in the level update.
Hold up 1 second. Story B. Google responds to lack of 4K 60 frames per second on Stadia. Stadia streams at 4K and 60 frames per second, and that includes all aspects of our graphics pipeline from games to screen. GPU, encoder, and Chromecast Ultra all outputting at 4K to 4K TVs with the appropriate internet connection. Developers making Stadia games work hard to deliver the best streaming experience for every game. Like you see on all platforms, this includes a variety of techniques to achieve the best overall quality. We give developers the freedom of how to achieve the best image quality and frame rate on Stadia, and we were impressed what they've been able to achieve for day one. That was a quote from Google. I think it continues here. We expect that many developers can, and in most cases, will continue to improve their games on Stadia. And because of Stadia lives in our data centers, developers are able to innovate quickly while delivering even better experiences directly to you without the need for game patches or downloads. So
Okay.
let's talk about this because
I understand it to a certain extent. It's up to the developers in the end to do this. However, they should have been on top of this. They should have been, if it came down to it, paying developers to make sure their shit at launch that is 4K 60 FPS, because it was one of the main things you were pushing from day one.
Yep.
The reveal of Stadia was all about 4K 60 FPS. 1 month before this thing released, Phil Harrison is talking about how it will be available day one. There will be 4K 60 FPS content day one. So, like, were you just surprised a day before when it was like, oh wait, none of them actually did it? Like, what, like, it just shows such a lack of experience on their part in the gaming space that they just thought these developers that don't have full faith in Stadia yet were just going to put in all this work for something that hasn't proven itself. If they wanted that to happen, they needed to be on top of these developers. They needed to make sure it would happen.
Well, and here's the biggest thing that I hate about it. First of all, it's kind of an advertising lie, to be honest, because there wasn't any actual asterisk there saying, like, well, there might be now, but if I remember correctly, there wasn't really anything there for it. B, the big issue I have with it is, like, Destiny 2 is a 1080p upscaled to 4K at 60 frames per second, which is great and all. But the hardware that is supposed to be powering this platform is, and this is an approximation that's probably not even close to it, but the last time I remember reading it was around, double to maybe, a little bit more so than the Xbox One X. And the Xbox One X plays Destiny 2 4K at 30 frames. Like, come on, guys. You're not helping your case out. Like, it's one of those things that's just like you have to be on top of all these very small, minute things day one. Here's the thing. It's because everyone found out from after the fact is why everyone's pissed off about it. If this would have been with the conference saying now, 4K 60 frames per second support will only be there partially day one, guess what? People then put their expectations in check. But when you just blanket it and say 4K 60 frames per second, everyone's thinking, well, crap, Red Dead Redemption 2 at 4K 60 frames. I don't need to buy a 2080 Ti RTX. And then, like, they play their game, it's a 1440p at 60 frames. It's like, it's not the same. Like, it's not the same what you're trying to advertise.
And here's what's extra funny about it to me is xCloud is capped at 720p.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because they never lied, and they're taking the slow and steady approach. That's just fine. They will get up to 1080p. They will get up to 4K eventually. They're doing it the right way. They are in early access beta preview program right now. They've got 50 games on there. People are loving the content and the delivery method, and it's working just fine at 720p, and it'll eventually work to a better latency and a better resolution and a better frame rate and all of that. But Stadia, Google, they put the cart before the horse, and it shows a lack of experience is what it shows. And this is why they're going to have a tough time competing with the Microsoft and the Sonys and the Nintendos, who have been in this space for such a long time and understand it much, much better than Google does.
And I mean, here's the other thing too. We already know the joint project that Sony and Microsoft have. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys stumbled out of the gate and you have your two biggest competitors kind of looking at you going, you're an idiot. Like, come on.
They have a very, very difficult road ahead of them.
They do.
But, I wonder, they could take these lessons and really learn from them. And it sounds like you're not optimistic on that, but I want them to do well because it will push xCloud to be better. It will push PS Now to be better. Although I'm not sure that Google is needed in the space for that to happen. I'm sure PS Now and xCloud will be pushing each other just fine. Right. I'm not sure Stadia is needed in order to make that happen. So.
I more want that team to succeed because I just don't want the whole killed by Google.com statistic, you know.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of people, and that's a couple developers. Even I say couple developers, I mean like I'm saying a couple development teams out of jobs, you
Yeah.
know. And in this game, in this industry, it's terrifying because sometimes when it's not you pick yourself up, you know. Sometimes when you're down, you're done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. I want to thank Original Zova and D-Day486 for the subs. We're now above our daily sub goal. That's 2 high points spins we'll be doing very soon. Let's continue on with the show here. Moving on from that, we've got a whole ton of Final Fantasy VII Remake screens to show you guys. And I'm going to put them all up on screen during this segment as we read some new information from people working on the game as well. First up, oh my god, this recreation of the original Aerith wallpaper, whatever you want to call it, that came with the disc pamphlet. It had the Highwind airship in it originally, but of course, since we're not going to get to that in the first game, you're not going to see it. We also have the church here and many others to come. But let's read some of these quotes. Director Tetsuya Nomura says, quote, "With regard to new characters of whom I said during past interviews that there would be none, though they aren't the main characters, their numbers ended up growing considerably in the process of creating a rich depiction of Midgar. When you think of Midgar's final boss, you probably think of Motorball, whatever some people call him. A lot of different things. But in this game, new bosses will appear and adds that excitement of the story even more. We've already begun working on the next one as well, but I'm confident that playing through this title will expand your expectations just like the world that extends beyond Midgar." So confirmation there. Full confirmation that they are already working on part 2. And I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm not surprised. So. It's not like they were going to wait to see if this one sells well.
No.
Like, come on. No. It's going to do very well. Let's rewind this a little bit, actually, to the beginning here so we can get these images once again. Let me talk about a few of them before we move to the next quote here. So as I said there, we've got Aerith staring out at the world and the journey that's to come. Recreation of the church here looks beautiful. The flowers growing through the destroyed floorboards there. Amazing. We've got this look here at Aerith's home. Now, what's interesting about this one is if you look up the original, it was much cleaner and had like a real garden sense to it, where this one just sort of feels like the planet is growing through. But I like that about it is it's like the one area in Midgar where the plants are still growing, and that's Aerith's home. So it still achieves that same sense and like thematic I guess essence, but without being too pretty that it felt out of place. Because originally it was like you were in the slums and then you go a screen to the right and suddenly it's all pretty and there's a garden and there's light shining. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like your next door neighbor is living in a shithole and what's going on here? So this I feel like makes a lot more sense within the structure of the game. So I'm happy with this. Next image is, let's wait for it. We've got the inside of Aerith's home, and it has that cozy feel. I just can't wait to see Elmira coming down the steps to talk with us. It's just, it feels right. It feels like, again, they get it. Like they understand the essence of these locales, and they're bringing it to PS4 and eventually PS5. Let's go to another quote here. Next up, we've got Najima, the story director. He says, "In Final Fantasy VII Remake, there will be much less room for player imagination. This fact will probably change the feel of the story considerably. People who know the original might not know quite how to take it, such as the fear that I have. But I also have conviction. It should be possible to feel a much deeper connection to Cloud as you join alongside him. It would be amazing if you could feel that fiery flames together with him." That's awesome. I love the honesty there because, yeah, it's a concern, right? Sometimes things are better left to the imagination. But the fact that they know that and that they're acknowledging it gives me hope that they're going to know where to draw the line. So
Yes.
that's good news. Toriyama, co-director, which is surprising. A lot of people didn't know he was a co-director, but he did work on the original game, and specifically on Honeybee Inn, which he is continuing on. Quote, "We took care to remake not only the main characters, but also characters like Johnny and Shinra Middle Manager, who I created back then. Please keep your eye out to see how they make their new appearances. Additionally, when remaking the Honeybee Inn at the Wall Market, we revived it as a pantheon of entertainment, which couldn't be realized back then. Here the scene that many of you have been eager to see where Cloud disguises himself. Please enjoy." So this guy has always been kind of known as the pervy one at Square Enix. Like when he presented Final Fantasy 13 for the first time, he came out with a bouquet of roses and talked about how they are symbolically like the essence of lightning, and it just kind of came off like
Very creepy.
Do you have a thing for lightning? Like the
Yes.
character that you created? It's always been a little bit creepy. And it's not at all a surprise that he was the one who created the Honeybee Inn in the original Final Fantasy VII, which is the brothel of that locale of Wall Market. But the fact that he's talking about here about it being a pantheon of entertainment implies to me that it's going to be the gold saucer of the remake.
I agree. Yep.
And
That's how I
then
read it.
in the next one, in part 2, they'll probably go a step beyond that even and make it even more bombastic and energetic, which is cool. So I'm happy with this. Give me more Wall Market. It's one of the best locales in Midgar. And finally, you got Takai, and there was a lot more than this. I chose 4 of them, but Takai, the graphics director, said, among the many major games that are celebrated for their photorealistic graphics, Final Fantasy VII is a little different. Not only is it realistic, but I believe you'll notice that it incorporates playfulness in the design and colors for the originality not found in other games. Effects are an area that is particularly conducive to expressing various elements of playfulness. This is such great news, because I remember when they announced the remake, and it's specifically the CGI trailer that revealed it. Everybody's like, oh no, they're going to Advent Children it. It's going to be too like somber and realistic. And now we're looking at it, and you've got, as I think we might see in a moment, like the Moogle riding the Chocobo with like fireworks going on in the background, and Don Corneo being revealed in Walmart, and it sounds like Mark Hamill voicing him, and the image of Cloud running away from the ghost. It's like, oh my God, it's all still there. The playfulness, the weird amalgamation of all these different atmospheres that shouldn't really come together and make sense. They should clash with each other, but they don't for some reason, and that's what makes this game so special. They get that. It really seems like they get that, and they're going to bring it into the remake. So everything that I'm reading, once again, I haven't read anything about this game that is raising a red flag for me.
No,
Nothing yet.
I'm ready for it. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, man. Not that far away either.
It's
really
not
isn't.
that far away. No, they're hitting the very much the right notes. So you gotta think all that development hell this game has been through.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's been worth it.
Yeah, and I wonder like how much of that actually was hell. I would imagine that the only actual delay they had, which we'll never know how much of a delay it was when they got rid of CyberConnect, and they probably had to redo some of their work internally. But I mean, honestly, that could have been just like 6 months. Maybe it just took them 4 years to make the first episode, because it was like all the groundwork being laid. And then from now on, maybe part 2, part 3, part 4 come out like 2 years apart. You know, maybe that was always sort of the plan. I don't know. I mean, in today's gaming landscape, 4 years for a large scale Japanese RPG is not really that unusual.
No. And plus we have no idea what it was taking. I mean, this could have had a mid-engine change. You know, this could have had an entire prototyping session that was just the combat system could have taken them a whole year and a half to prototype, develop, condense, change. I mean, Arkham Asylum actually did the exact same thing, believe it or not. When Rocksteady talked about that, they went from a 2D fighting game to Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Like, it's some game development is very fluid.
Speaking of, I mean, look at that. Arkham Legacy, the rumored announcement, that's Montreal. That's not even Rocksteady. How long has it been since Rocksteady released a game? Rocksteady's
Arkham Knight.
That was like 2014, right?
Yes. Yep.
By the time this game comes out, it's going to be like 7 or 8 years. Like, this is how long it takes to make these games sometimes. Like, and I just feel like I don't see anybody really complaining that much about how long it's taking Rocksteady. They're excited and they're like, oh, I can't wait to see the next game. But nobody's like, oh my God, Rocksteady are, you know, they're failures. Look at them. They can't even get a game out in 4 years. It's like, nobody's saying that. But when it's Square Enix, it's always like, my God, they're run so terribly. They can't get a game out every couple of years. It's like a lot of these guys are taking 5, 6, 7 years at this point, because these games are huge. Some of these games are freaking monstrous, and they're very ambitious. So,
and it's not fair, I think, for a lot of people to sit there and say, I mean, God of War dealt with the same bullcrap. Like, God of War's announced, and then that was what, an entire 2 years, essentially, almost 2 years before we got it. And I just remember that other E3 people were like, wow, when they can't get this game out, like, what's taking them so long? It's like,
I know,
are you serious right now? Like, but yet, like, Cyberpunk, people are still complaining about Cyberpunk. It's like,
yeah, Cyberpunk was announced in like 2012.
It was announced, yeah. It was like, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long, a long ass time. I should know we're going to do it right before the next commercial break, your marbles. But yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you there. Did they say how many parts it will be? No, but the assumption is 3 to 4 right now. It's kind of where everybody seems to be. 3 would make a lot of sense, but considering how little of the game they're actually making in the first episode, it might take them 4 episodes to get it done.
Here was the only question I was going to ask you, and I know how much you love this game, so this was more of an actual question. Do you think they integrate Crisis Core into the game, or will they launch that off as a separate mini remake and kind of make that like another thing?
There's
Do you think
3 possibilities here, actually, in my opinion. 1, they build a lot of it into the game, but not all of it. I really don't think they're going to put Genesis or Angeal in there, but I do think they're going to expand Zack's story pretty massively.
Okay.
They could do it as a separate game. I think there's enough there with Zack that they could reimagine Crisis Core, get rid of some of the things people complain about like Genesis and Angeal, and do a really cool Zack story. There's also the possibility that between episodes 1 and 2, or between episodes 2 and 3, to help us get through those 2 years, they release a DLC pack that is all about Zack or something like that. I think there's a strong possibility that something like that could happen.
Okay.
And I wouldn't mind that myself.
I wouldn't mind.
He's not in the original game, so
I love Zack.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
If it was like something that was in the original game that they were separating out and making DLC, that I might be like a little bit peeved by. But if they take the extra Zack stuff and make that DLC or something, that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Even better though if they just incorporate it.
I really hope for all the characters, I really hope Zack gets more incorporated into the game.
He needs to,
because I think he deserves it.
His main story beat is not even a part of the main story campaign.
Nope.
You have to find it. It's really weird. Yeah. Yep. They need to fix that. They're going to fix that. There's no way they let that be hidden. There's 3 things that are 100% going to change, in my opinion. Zack will be a part of the main story, not a side quest, and Yuffie and Vincent will not be optional characters.
Yep. They'll be integrated in. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
100%. No doubt about it.
No, yep.
Moving on. Vince, take it away.
All right, so VR will not be a focus for Xbox Scarlet. This is a quote from Phil Spencer. I have some issues with VR. It's isolating. I think our games as communal, kind of together experience. We're responding to what our customers are asking for, and no one's asking for VR, Spencer said. The vast majority of our customers know if they want a VR experience, there's places to go get those. We see those volumes of those on PC and other places. Spencer admitted that some of the decision was based on cold hard cash, as nobody's selling millions and millions of VR units. I think we might get there eventually, Spencer concluded. But yeah, that's not where our focus is.
So I get it. That's fine. I'm not going to get on them about not wanting to do Xbox VR. They're going to choose their lane and that's okay. I do think that there's some weird phrases in here that are just frankly untrue. Yes. There are people selling millions and millions of VR units. Sony is one of them. They've sold 5 million now. They've made about $2 billion in revenue off PSVR. So that's just incorrect. And just to flat out say nobody's asking for VR, don't generalize to that extent. Phil, I get what you're trying to say, but you better word it better than that. There are people that are asking for VR.
Well, I think what's kind of funny is didn't this statement come out before Half-Life Alyx?
It did.
So the funny thing,
which we're going to talk about a little later.
Yeah, I know, but the funny thing for me now is the Valve Index is sold out.
It is.
It is back ordered until the end of December, and the back order keeps going back farther and farther. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying, Phil, and I understand that. And honestly, I talked a little bit to some of my chat about it too. So I think someone asked a question, and I said I can see why they're not doing VR because AR is their game, HoloLens is their game. Like, yeah, so why would they go into this whole other thing of VR when they sit there and start incorporating AR experiences into their games, AR experiences into Forza, AR experiences into Sea of Thieves? Like, that is their game. And then VR will come back later. Will come into that play whenever they finally have,
if they want to get into VR, I mean, can't they just ask Vive or ask Valve to put together, compatibility with Xbox? Like,
right. Well, I mean, that was the original.
Or they even have their Windows one. Like, they can make it work.
Well, the original one too there is, the original one was Oculus. They were going to have Oculus support. It was the original one. Like, it's there. And the majority of people aren't asking for VR. I can understand that because VR experiences haven't really differentiated themselves from there. We've had a couple highlights lately, like with, Super Hot VR, Astrobot, soon Half-Life Alyx. Like, we're still getting those games to come out that are actually showing those transformative experiences. And it's going to take a major break. I mean, that's why it could be Half-Life Alyx could be finally the one who breaks that mold, who this is the next thing.
Could be. That's all it's going to take too, is like right now this seems like it could be smart, but all it takes is one killer app to suddenly make VR take off, and suddenly they're left in the dust trying to figure out how to get VR on their console as quickly as possible, while Sony has a foothold, Valve has a foothold, and they could be too far behind to catch up. That's all it takes. So right now, yeah, it doesn't seem crazy to me, but it doesn't take much for suddenly to be like, oh, wow, they made a mistake. They should have had some toe in that water, But
I mean, they did the same thing with 3D, and
yep.
I mean, here's the thing. The only reason why 3D format died was because they stopped making movies and no one wanted the glasses experience. If you would have been able to do 3D TVs without the glasses, guess what? That's what we'd all be watching right now. That's what we'd be doing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It all just comes down to that. So
I think that they can integrate VR whenever they want, but I don't think it's like hey, flip the switch, we're good.
Nope.
I do think there's going to be a transitional period that they're going to have to, go through to get VR up and running and get games on it and catch up. And the question is it a year? Is it 6 months? Is it 2 years? And is that too long for them to catch up? Is it not that they won't be able to have their space in VR, but for like the generation as a whole, next generation, will they be too far behind to have any meaning in the VR space in that generation? It's too early to say, and it might never happen. It might not even become an issue. So, but if you're speculating on it, I think there is a chance this could bite them in the ass. There is potential for that. I don't think it will happen, but I do think there is potential for that to happen. Anyway.
Yeah.
You guys voted, though, that you think it was smart overall for them to stay away from the VR right now. It's too niche for now. The Game Awards. We have some confirmations and we have some rumors.
Ooh.
Let's go with the confirmations first. There will be a new Ori and the Will of the Wisps trailer. Yes. Really excited for that. One of my most anticipated games. New look at Gears Tactics. Couldn't care less about that, but
Cool.
We'll see something.
I don't care.
We'll get the reveal of a new first game from Wolf Eye Games. They are a new studio, and they are being built from the Arcane founder. So, no idea what that means. This could go any direction, but their first game at Wolf Eye Games will be revealed. We're also going to get a deeper look at Half-Life Alyx. This doesn't surprise me because Jeff Keighley's doing this whole behind-the-scenes video thing with Valve talking about Half-Life. So he has a connection with them there and got them in.
Got
the
them
Game
in.
Awards. Let's go to the rumors. Got one big one.
That big one.
Arkham Legacy will be revealed at the Game Awards. According to a popular YouTuber, Shimoff, I don't know. Batman Arkham Legacy will be revealed at the Game Awards. His source is an insider named Gabe, along with a few other undisclosed sources. Disclaimer. Gabe has said that he doesn't know it will be revealed there 100% since his info is second and third hand, so don't take it as fact. He didn't hear it from people within WB or WB Montreal. He just heard it from other people he trusts. He was backing up what Shkimoff said. Do not go and private message him or anything if it doesn't show up. Gabe is the same guy who leaked the Damian Wayne game in its entirety, so you can trust him. Can we? Because
I don't know.
We don't know that that's true yet, right? So
we still don't know if that's exactly true there yet.
Yeah, so take it with a grain of salt. I want it to be there so badly because I'm more interested in what WB Montreal is doing at this point than Rocksteady, if the rumors are true. Right. So, yeah, I really, really want this to be true. That being said, all of the past reveals at the Game Awards for like Batman games and shit like that were like CGI trailers. So probably means we won't get like gameplay footage of this game if they do show it off.
Man, it's going to be so weird not seeing anything Death Stranding here. Like trailer wise, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh.
He'll find a way. They'll do like I don't know, like bring Hideo Kojima out as some type of like, look what he's done, guys.
Yeah.
How far he's come. Just 2 years ago, I was on this stage and he couldn't be here because Konami had him in shackles for 4 years ago, whatever it was.
Like that. Yeah, whatever.
Now look at him. 10 nominations. My best friend, Hideo Kojima. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Go ahead, Vince.
So for the next story here, we have hardly anyone has Scarlet development kits. Tom Warren, who is a senior editor at The Verge, hardly anyone has them, and they're not there. And and they're nowhere near final. That's why you're hearing a lot of nonsense about them not being powerful, etc. Microsoft wants to surprise Sony this time. Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up.
What's up?
Let's just take this in here for a second.
Yeah.
Microsoft wants to surprise Sony this time.
Yes.
So we are a year from launch, and since no one has them, does that mean that Microsoft also wants to surprise developers and publishers?
That's where I was going to go with this as well. I'm with you.
Now, here's the other thing. I've actually read this multiple times today. I've actually thought about it in my head as I was at work today, thinking about what's going on here. Now, there actually could be a really good grain of nugget of truth here. And that's like, yeah, there might not be Scarlet development kits because it coincides with that same story that we talked about a couple months ago about how Xbox Scarlet will not have exclusives for 2 years. Right. Here's the thing. Because of how Microsoft develops the Xbox platform is essentially a PC-based platform, more so than what Sony's PS4, PS5 platform is. So there could be a way to where there might be finagling development for the next console via just PC, direct API, transfers, and everything like that. I'm sorry, I'm not using the actual technically correct term.
No, you're good.
But you get what I'm saying, though?
Yep.
Development nature between those two platforms is very much, very similar. And here's the other thing, too. I'm sorry. Like, both of them know which the other one's doing at this point now, especially this late in the game. Everyone always quotes the Sony surprise that was the PS4.
Yeah.
The only surprise there
was a RAM surprise.
Was a RAM surprise because it was development kit had 8 gigabytes. The consumer kit was spec'd for 4 gigabytes. They got a massive price break, and they're like, "Oh, hey, the consumer model is going to have 8 gigs." That was the surprise there. Then development, and even then, we didn't see development take advantage of that for a couple of years because people were like, "Oh shit." Well, what's going on?
And that's the thing. That could be changed at any point, like before launch, really, like up to a certain extent. So, like, honestly, Xbox probably could have fired back and be like, okay, we're going to do 8 gigs as well. They didn't want to. Right. And I understand why not, but they could have that far ahead. They would have been like, all right, we're up into 8 gigs as well. Like, RAM is something that's a little bit more flexible. It's one of the more flexible things. So yeah, like it doesn't go far beyond that though. It's not like, I don't think that Xbox has some crazy secret sauce that they are really waiting till the last minute to drop, even in dev kits. Honestly, I feel like this is a really bad move if this is true, because graphics aren't everything. Power isn't everything. We've seen this a million times. It comes down to games in the end, especially if the power difference is like negligible, which is honestly what I expect. Even if Xbox does some like super secret sauce and is able to get a 1-up on Sony, it's like, okay, you're going to be like 5% more powerful. Good for you. It's like, it's not going to make that big a difference. It's going to be like a bullet point on your advertising. In the end, it's going to come down to games. And if you are keeping your dev kits from developers until like 6 months before launch, you are impacting your games. And that is what should come first. Right. I don't think anybody who's an Xbox fan should be reading this and be like, yeah, stick it to Sony. They should be like, shit, no, focus on the games. That's what matters. Focus on games. You're probably doing this because you're going to wait 2 years after Scarlet launches before you even do a Scarlet exclusive. That's probably why they are doing this. It's like, we're not doing anything that can't be done on Xbox One S. Like that's probably what they're thinking with this rationale.
And to get into a deeper conversation here, not to go too far here, but we're also seeing a kind of a complete. We've been talking about this for quite a while on the show now. Every other month now, it seems like, but we're starting to see those visions kind of really branch away at this point, which what's always kind of makes me kind of get really annoyed at Phil Spencer. Sometimes it's like, Phil, shut up. Like, because Xbox's strategy now is no longer about hardware. It's no longer about that anymore. It's about software subscriptions and software in general and keeping you hooked onto the ecosystem there. That's all it is. The box is kind of the gateway there, but even the box is becoming more and more irrelevant now. Whereas Sony even said straight up, like, nah, it's console generational.
Nah.
This is the PS5. This is what we're doing with it. It is brand new. Yeah, it's going to have, there's the whole cool rumor that it might be a legacy console where it'd be like, you can play everything on there, but it is new technology. And that's not saying that the Xbox Scarlet's not going to have new technology. The thing that makes that kind of rough now is, does that work in Microsoft's favor or does it not? Because we saw what the Black Friday sale is doing for PlayStation.
Yeah,
So now
supposedly
we
it's
have-
doing crazy well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, and so if you're talking about consumer retention, well, your competition's still selling more consoles than you know? And it's the same thing too. I mean, I don't have to get an Xbox because I can play games on PC Game Pass, and I'm only paying $5 a month. It's just weird to me that they, for all this good intents and purposes with all developers and everything like that, if they'd be holding back dev kits like this, it'd be like, you're just hurting your relations more.
Yeah,
if
I feel
anything.
like they're prioritizing getting the win, like on like the launch win on PS5, and that's just the launch win. That's it. Like, these generations go for 6, 7, and honestly, if this is a big a jump as some are predicting, this could be like an 8-year generation.
It could
And you're not even doing generations at all anymore on Xbox. So, like, why are you trying to get the win, the one up on Sony so badly that you would keep your dev kits from your developers? It doesn't seem right to me, and I have a hard time believing it. It just seems really ill-advised to me.
I mean, I still think Microsoft's going to have the stronger console. I just think they are.
You think so?
I think they're going to, but it's still going to be one of those things where it's not going to be like a 50% difference in GPU cost, which was what this was.
Unless they want to be $200 more expensive than PS5, yeah.
I actually think Sony's going to be the more expensive one now because of the technology that was talked about in the next gen channel. I could see that, and I
still think they're going to be the same price myself.
I could see it going either way.
Xbox has just been really trying hard to say, like, we won't be the more expensive one. They haven't ever really said we're going to be the cheaper one. Just not that we're going to be the more expensive one. So that just implies to me, like, they're going to be the same price.
Right. But at the same time, for me, like a $499 console for Sony with that new Crosspoint ReRAM technology, I was like, that makes sense to me. I'm buying that. And we can talk about that some other time, I think. But oof. Yeah, it's just it's fun.
I do have one thing I want to show off real quick here, and this has audio. It is a PS5 render conceptual video that somebody did. It came out a couple weeks ago, but I just saw it for the first time a couple days ago, and I put it on Discord. But I was really impressed by it from a design standpoint, and I think that it actually shows that the V could work if they rework it. So check this out. Check out this little video here. I think you guys will enjoy it. They went all out on this, man. They did. So shout out to VR Player, the team that put that together, that render video there. I think that shows. Do you agree, Vince? I think that shows that you could do something pretty attractive with the V design if you wanted to.
You can. I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, I'll be really excited if it has like the V concept, but honestly, I'm not gonna mind it if it's a big square box.
Oh, I don't care either. In the end, it's just a box that sits on a
It's
shelf.
a box that sits
Yeah.
on a shelf. Yeah. Wow. I just had a moment there. I was reading the chat and then I was going back over to you. Yeah, but no, it is kind of funny though that V, it's kind of a stickling point for the dev kit. There's people who either love it or there's people who hate it. It's just funny to me.
It doesn't look good on the dev kit. That's just what people are saying. It doesn't. It's not supposed to look good. It's simply for stacking them.
Yes,
But
simply.
I think it could result in a pretty cool looking and also smart cooling technique that could work well for the PS5. I mean, outside of even its appearance, I think there's some ingenuity going into that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean-
I think that they might. I think they honestly might find a way to work this V into the main console as well.
Watch, it's gonna be like something like super duper slick, and people are gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
I mean, if it's something like a shallow V, like we saw there, I think that's kind of cool looking.
I kind of want a hard cut V though, just for the hell
You
of
want
it.
a deep V?
I want not a deep V.
Real
I just
deep
want a
V?
hard. I want a hard cut V, as in like very sharp a V. I like that, just so it just looks that way. If it's got any rounded angles, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Let's ask the chat here. What they? Oh, I think I put the wrong one in there, didn't I? Yes, I did. Apologies. That's for later. You guys can answer it now, though. Let me
Oh, do you? So kind of going back on that though.
reset
So
the poll here.
you see the little bit of the couple images of that controller though, how that D-pad looks.
I did. Yeah, so let's talk about this. So the reason I brought this up in the first place was that it's going to work. Yeah, let me know in the chat, guys, there. Let me reset that there. Would you like the V built in the PS5? It doesn't seem like it wants to run. I think I have to stop the other poll, that's why. Poll stop. There we go. Let me restart this here.
You're good. You're good.
And yeah, the reason I brought it up in the first place is that there's a new image out there with 2 dev kits and also supposedly PS5 dev kit controllers. Now we also had the patent that we talked about the other week as well, where so that it's like a little bit beefier, and
Yeah.
that's kind of it. There's not much else going on there. But this image, it's kind of hard to see. If you zoom in really close, you can kind of see that it looks a little bit beefier. Do you think so?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's very slight. You could almost think it's like a shadow if you
Look at it.
If you look at it, it's kind of hard to say, but I'm down with that. As I said last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I'm down with a little bit extra beef on the controller, a little bit more weight to it. I don't want it to be considerably bigger, but as I said, I think they're just kind of getting closer and closer towards the Xbox controller with symmetrical sticks, and I'm okay with that. But somebody also tweeted out after the new dev kit image released and confirmed or corroborated that, yeah, the only reason they're designed like this is because they're being stacked.
Yes, and I mean it's for stress testing and everything like that. I mean that's actually the one thing I forget where it was. There's actually a really cool video from 343 Industries about how they were murdering poor Xbox One dev kits. They were murdering those poor things. Like people were making fun of it, going, "We need to get those Xbox dev kits homes." Like they were stacking these square machines up top of them, and you could just hear the whines from the coils of electricity just because like they were just overheating, and it was just like, and they were just like, they just kept pushing it harder and harder. It's like if you're someone who does not like seeing technology get abused, it's like that video will like hurt your soul.
Oh, geez. Let's do some wheel spins here because we did get a lot of support there. First off, Duroc coming in with a scare tip. Drew Barrymore scare tip, 1666. Let's do 3 spins for Duroc. We got 5 plus 35 plus 5. That's 45 to the entire room. Way to go, room. Courtesy of Duroc. After that, we had Derek the 9 Fox with a 666. Coming with 15 XP to the room. If you were going for the scare tip there, Derek, 666 is now over. The discounted scare tips are over. It's 1111, 1666, and 2222 are the new values for scare tips. After that, we had Original Zova coming in with the tier 1. And we've got 20 XP there. And then we also had D-Day coming in. 20 plus 25. So that's another 45 to the room. 20. We'll do 25. And then let's go over to the high points wheel, the goal wheel, because we had 2 goals. We hit our daily tip goal and our daily sub goal. Thank you so much for the support today, guys. Let's see if we can work towards that follow and cheer goal now. So first up, let's do the sub goal. We've got 15. And the daily tip goal, we've got... Oh, that's a rough one. You guys got screwed on that. 25 to the room, courtesy of 2 goals. There's up to like 100 each on that wheel, but did not work out for you guys this time. We are going to pause the stream again because we're going to do some marbles. So YouTubers, hold on tight. And welcome back from Marbles. But we're also going to take a quick commercial break here. I think we're all caught up on wheel spins. We're going to start a sub gift giveaway though. Yeah, that's... Oh, we actually did get a couple of new subs since we last spun, didn't we? We got a tip, too, from Hitman. So we're going to do a few spins here. Hitman coming in with the $5 tip. He will spin for him first. Thank you so much. We're going to give 5 XP to the room. After that, we had Duroc gifted us up to Wolf Yi. This one's for Wolf Yi. And that's bonus XP for the next hour. And then after that, we had Mr. Rager coming in with the Twitch Prime resub of 21 months. And that's another 5 XP to the room. But we are going to take a commercial break. I'll activate a sub gift giveaway during commercial break. If you are not yet a sub, type in !! Sub gift in chat and you might get lucky. When we come back, we got our trailer of the week and we'll get into the rapid fire news roundup to get this all done. Hold on tight, Doom Turkey. We'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 285. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're enjoying the show at any point, please hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/levelupshow like Outcast did, our first follow and only follow of the night. Appreciate you so much. On top of that, we do have the prize wheel active. Anything worth $5 or more will get you a spin of the prize wheel, as you saw. So you could sub, resub, pledge on Patreon, share, tip, host for 10 viewers or more, Twitch Prime sub gift, or community sub gift. All those give you a spin. We are just $22 away from hitting the full goal tonight. 60-minute after show. We hit our 30-minute after show, so now we're working towards 60-minute after show. If you don't know what that is, it's entirely focused on talking with you guys in the chat. It's all conversational, no agenda, media share active, so we can watch videos together, and allows us to finally answer some of those questions that you might have in the chat, since we're so focused on really discussing the stories of the week during the main part of the show. I did get your audio hook redemption, Asha. We'll make sure that happens in the near future. I no longer have Wake Up Level Up to give me time to do these things, but I'll make sure to make that happen for you. We do have a sub gift giveaway active for another 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Outcast Havoc is the only one in there right now. Type in ! Sub gift in the chat if you would like a shot at a free sub to the channel. Right now, we are going to get into our trailer of the week, but it is it's actually multiple videos we're going to watch. I'm going to take a look at pretty much all the TV spots that came out in the last week for Star Wars Episode 9, and then we're also going to take a look at the featurette that came out this week for Episode 9. Lots of Star Wars hype going around. So let's get that going. Pause this at the start here. Vince will not be able to follow along just because there's so many TV spots in here and I didn't know that he was actually going to join me tonight. So he's just going to watch the stream, and I guess we'll just have to talk after each TV spot about what happened. All right, let me go full screen for you guys on this. And let's check this out. First TV spot.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
On December 20th, the saga.
C-3PO looks so evil.
Hold on!
Let the final battle begin.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Get tickets now.
Oh, honey. All right, so first thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to pause on it actually, is I can see that scene right here, that is some CGI work being done on Carrie Fisher here. Either that is somebody who's not Carrie Fisher and Carrie Fisher's face was put on somebody else's body or whatever, but this is the first example I've seen of some work being done to insert Carrie Fisher into this movie.
Yes. I
So-
was gonna say, looks a little out.
It's a little off, but it is what it is. They're working with what they got, right?
Right.
So they're gonna do their best to make it work. But I was a little surprised, honestly, that I noticed this so quickly. Hopefully, it's not glaring throughout the film, like the scenes where, they had to do some work.
For sure.
Otherwise, Palpatine's voice, man, it's just so good. It gets me hyped up every single time.
It does.
It
I love how, like,
does.
they're just ignoring him, like in all the press releases and everything like that. But man, he's there in the spots. It's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Why are 3PO's eyes red?
Isn't that him plugging into something?
Maybe.
Like, if I remember that scene, like that's like from the very first trailer, it's like I'm saying goodbye to my friends or whatever.
Maybe, yeah, that could be it. I also want to say, like, BB-8 is just the best.
BB-8.
Every time he's just rolling into battle, I'm like, you're badass, BB-8. Evie's in love with BB-8 already.
Yeah,
Makes me happy.
I love Kylo's helmet being stitched with the red.
Yeah,
there.
it's like got like
super
the
cool.
scars of being stitched back together. It's pretty badass with the red
yeah.
lines.
Yeah, it looks really good.
All right, moving on. Next TV spot. Wait for it. Fast forward a tiny bit. All right, here we go.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny.
Knights of Ren.
If this mission fails, it was all for nothing.
We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
Your journey nears its end.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Get some good
Tickets
lightsaber
available
battles in
now.
this one. I feel like I need some more lightsaber battles in this one than we got in Last Jedi or Force Awakens. Honestly, like I need lots of lightsaber in this one. It's been sorely lacking.
It has been sorely lacking. I mean, as much as everyone kind of hates the prequels with their flippy flips,
Yeah.
I gotta say I've been missing it very much so. It hasn't even helped too with like even like BioWare games or whatnot, like with the Old Republic CGI spots and everything like that.
Mhm.
Like even those lightsaber fights, it was like, God, we need some for these new movies, and they just haven't given it to us. So I'm really hoping they just deliver in spades for this one.
I also want to say that they made Kylo Ren look much more intimidating in this one than he has in the others.
His wave shot every time gets me. I'm just like, damn, he just looks like a villain now, and I love it.
Yeah,
Like,
which is funny because I have a feeling he's not going to be a villain in the end of this one, but we'll have to wait and see.
no
on that.
redemption. No redemption for Kylo Ren.
No redemption.
I don't want it. I want him just to be there. I don't want him to. I know they're going to do it, but I don't want it.
Next spot. Let's see.
All we've done, all this time,
What are you doing there, 3PO?
taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny.
Man, visually, this looks so good.
We're all
Oh
in this.
my god.
Till the end.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Tickets available now.
I have to say, like, for me, I really love Rian Johnson, and I think he's a great director, and I think he's great with visuals. But this one looks, I don't know if it just looks like it has a higher budget, like a stronger budget than Last Jedi did. It's just there's so much spectacle going on in this. This scene right here, like, holy shit, man! Like, some of this shit looks great. What do you think? Do you think it like looks like it's just like more money being thrown into this than ever?
Nah, not really. I thought
Really?
I thought Last Jedi looked phenomenal. in a way. But I would have to say probably the spectacle of this a little bit maybe. There's
Yeah, it just
definitely
feels more epic in scale.
I think it's the camera work if that really helps it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I
It's
think
like
with Last
sweeping,
Jedi,
right? A lot of sweeping
yeah,
shots.
we got a lot more close shots and much more like up close
Yeah.
personal type shots with Last Jedi. This has definitely much more what you're saying, the swinging, the it has that kind of flow for it.
Yeah. All right, I think we have one more TV spot, and this one I've seen, but it's so badass that they use this music. Wait for it.
This will be the final word in the story of Skywalker.
Star Wars:
Oh
The
my
Rise
God.
of Skywalker. Get
All
tickets
right,
now.
so they use Duel of the freaking Fates. Now, what I want to stop on here is Kylo Ren at the end, because this is what I'm talking about. I'll wait for it. I'm going to wait until I can pause it right on his freaking face. That doofy face. Because it doesn't look doofy, actually. He often does look doofy,
He does.
Adam Driver. But, oh, God, it's so hard to... I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it. It's like, it's insanely fast. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it. Ah, I was so close. I was so close. There's a shot like right there at the last second that I think he looks so badass. And it's too, you guys get the idea though. He
Yeah.
looks so much more intimidating in this one than he did in The Last Jedi, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But here's what's great is John Williams said that this score on this last one is going to be a culmination of like his entire work throughout the entire series of Star
I
Wars.
can't wait on that.
So
one.
he said you're going to hear like every theme you could ever imagine in this one movie, which makes me like, I just want like an awesome Duel of the Fates scene. I can't wait to hear a Duel of the Fates is used. 'Cause I think it's going to happen. I think Duel of the Fates is going to be in the movie.
Oh, me too. And I mean, and that's honestly, I've been waiting so much for. Yeah, I know we had a long discussion a while ago about John Williams and whatnot, but
Yeah.
no, this score I've definitely been anticipating because I've been waiting for something like that. Because I mean, I thought he knocked it out of the park with Episode 3, and just to hear him kind of get back up to this type of, yeah, I'm excited for that now. And I really want to see it and hear it.
Faux show. We got one more. Let's watch a featurette. And I actually haven't seen this yet. So
All right.
let's check out this featurette. Just dropped a couple days ago.
Take a few minutes for the Navi computer to calculate the coordinates.
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin Crop's kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bouncing into
Store.
a supermarket and then
Yeah.
be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. We're gonna
Man,
lose
look
you
at
in
Peter
front of the
Mayhew.
shield.
I've never
Let's
seen
strap
him
yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
that young.
Sure.
Yeah.
You. Go away.
Bounce too near a supermarket?
That was awesome.
This is a very simple, basic idea.
It's a story about a farm boy in Nebraska, and not on Tatooine.
It was originally designed to be a modern fairy tale.
About good and evil, you know, and what prevails and what doesn't prevail.
It's unlimited, the possibilities of what they can do.
If this one doesn't work out, we're sort of finished. But hopefully it will justify it as a series. Make you say, gee, what happens next?
The whole experience has been so completely unanticipated.
I had my doubts about whether another Star Wars would work.
But I now get that phrase, thank you for my childhood, because it's something that people carry with them now forever and ever and ever.
As I see it, this has nothing to do with past, present, or future. Star Wars could be in any of those areas.
It's a big part of what makes these films so important to pass on from generation to generation.
I feel honored that I've been allowed to continue the journey. It's very cool to meet someone inspirational to a generation of moviegoers.
Those that have gone before you, incredible artists in their own right. You delve deeper in your appreciation and respect for that.
Oh my gosh. It feels like I was just in a time machine and I had traveled back to when they first started filming Star Wars.
Roll cameras. If you're a kid watching this 100 years from now, 500 years from now,
Sound speed.
you see this inevitability, this story conclude in a way that feels thrilling and shocking and funny and emotional and satisfying.
I like these films.
I think there's a legacy that's important.
Ready, set, 9, camera up, take 9. Episode 9 will be a conclusion of a story that is over 40 years in the making. Action!
So all stops are out and it's all go.
It's like a month away, but they're like going into like full like momentum here on marketing a month ahead. And I feel like all of the projections they've been doing as far as box office take, like 210, was like right before this huge kick started off. And I think a lot of people, when they see all these trailers with Sidious and his voice and Duel of the Fates and the featurettes, like, you know, making it feel like, yeah, this is the culmination of 40 years of filmmaking, that's going to put butts in the seats. And I still say this is going to do 230, something like that, opening weekend. I'm still going with that. Even though the projections right now are saying like 205, 210. I think that is before this started.
Yeah.
It's just people want to see the closer of it all, even if you didn't like The Last Jedi, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think so too. And the other thing too is I think December 20th is also kind of like a hard date for people to kind of figure out, you know.
Yeah.
It's right around the holidays. I think Disney might have been smarter to push it back just to like in their week. But at the same time, I also get why they did that because of the strong performance they've gotten from the films being on those dates. So it's anyone's game right now. Here's the thing, even if it doesn't have a great opening weekend, even though 205 is still a great opening weekend. Here's the thing. If the positive word of mouth is great, it's going to have the legs. I think it's actually going to have better legs than The Force Awakens, if that makes sense.
Right. Because a lot of people here's the thing that you might see a bounce back, right? Like a lot of people that don't want to see it because of Last Jedi, but then if everybody's like, holy shit, it was amazing and it makes up for The Last Jedi, then all those people are like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go see it. So then you're going to see the second weekend potentially be like a 30% drop, which is like unheard of, right? But that would be crazy. I don't think it would be that. That's insane. Usually you see like 50, 60, something's above 60. But if you can get down into the 40s as far as the second weekend drop, like that's insane. If you get down to 40%, that would be ridiculous. So yeah, like that's the kind of thing you might see happen though with a movie like this, where it's hard to say the portion of film goers that are not going to see it because of The Last Jedi that might turn around on it if it turns out that everybody's saying it's so good.
I gotta say though, when watching this featurette, and it might have been just me not picking out. Is it strange that they show Ewan McGregor like 3 times in this, but no one else?
They did, yeah. They didn't show
no
Qui-Gon
one else or anybody else from the prequel. And I was like,
No, I noticed that. You're right. Yeah.
Like, Sorry, it's just one of those things where I'm just like,
Carrie Fisher was so pretty. Oh my god. She was such a beauty. It's sad. It's so sad.
It is sad what that is. I mean, what happened with her and kind of how everything went down with that.
She couldn't just close it off. It's sad that it couldn't happen that way. But
did you read Ryan? Speaking of Star Wars directors, did you read Rian Johnson's interview about the negativity with The Last Jedi and how it's done for him as a person?
I think so, because he's talked about this a lot. So I might be thinking of a different time he talked about it. But if you have a recap, kind of what he said.
Well, it was really great, and it was one of those things like, you know what, Ryan, I wish someday I can have the mental fortitude that you must have, because he was talking about how like whenever he would first start making movies and everything like that, it'd be like, oh my gosh, someone said something wrong thing about or a negative thing about me on the internet. I feel really bad. I need to make them like me, you know?
Yeah,
and things like that. And then he said, with how polarizing The Last Jedi was. And how the death threats he got and all of that negativity and hate, he was like, it's kind of funny. You just start seeing a pattern. on it, like of these people who are just so bitter and so angry that like that's all they do.
Yeah.
And it's just this and he's like to this point now, he's like, I can see a negative comment. It doesn't even blip me anymore. He's like, it just like, it does. He just takes criticism at what he can be. And like, if it's someone's being overly negative, he just kind of moves on from it. He's like, it doesn't affect him. And I was like, that's what we all kind of need a little bit.
Yeah. I love his approach. I love everything he says about that. He seems like such an upstanding guy, like a respectable guy.
He would seem like someone who would be really cool, like to, you know, if you're at lunch, something like that with, and just talking film or just talking it. Like he seemed like you would just have like a great conversation with the dude. Like, you know, you would just have fun. There were jokes. Like, it feels like that, you know?
Agreed. I'm with you 100%. Every time I see him in interviews, I'm just thinking, this is a guy I want to talk to. This is a guy I want to hang out with, pick his brain.
Right.
Yeah. I hate seeing everything he's received, even though I don't love The Last Jedi. I like it just fine, but I do think it's flawed. I don't care. Like the guy is he seems like a really great guy. So for him to get all the hatred and vitriol that he has just really grinds my gears, Vince.
It really grinds my gears too. Trust me.
All right, let's continue on with the show. We're gonna finish this off, everybody. We got those small stories, those tiny little stories we got to get through every single week, in what we like to call Rapid Fire News Roundup.
Doing great.
First up in the Rapid Fire News Roundup. Actually, now I think about it.
I didn't even see this. I'm sorry. I spoiled this already. I apologize.
What?
Oh, the Rapid News Fire. I didn't realize that you had this as like a topic for the first one.
Oh, you're fine. No worries. First up, let's talk about Half-Life Alyx revealed last week, with some different impressions on it. A lot of people just feeling like, oh God, why has it got to be VR, right? Because I don't want to spend $1,000, potentially $1,000 for Valve Index. It is going to be on several different VR platforms, but still, a lot of people not wanting to spend that extra. But clearly a lot are, because Valve Index has sold out entirely outside of the $1,000 bundle. That's the only one that hasn't sold out yet. All the other Valve Index individual units and bundles have sold out completely following the Half-Life Alyx reveal.
Yep.
I
think it's crazy too for something that is niche.
I think it's probably still niche. I think it depends on like how many units does that actually mean. But yeah, clearly there are games that are going to get people to jump on board. And this is one of them. And if we can get more and more games like this, suddenly VR becomes more and more of a thing. And then suddenly it's no longer niche. So
yeah,
they're the ones that started it. But what do you guys think? Will you buy a VR headset for Half-Life Alyx? I will not. Unless it comes with PSVR.
I mean, there's been some chatter with that, which I think I mentioned that before. There has been some very small chatter, nothing conclusive, rumor, grain of salt. But I won't mind buying another one. I have a Samsung Gear VR and I have a PSVR. I don't have a PC VR set yet, and I'm thinking about getting one. It's just where's the money at,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think it's Valve Index is expensive no matter which way you go, right?
It's like, I think the bare minimum I think is $600, I think. Because I think what makes that is it's the headset itself on top of the controllers, on top of Valve's Playbox, which is like the boundaries to where it senses the VR headset so it can do more tracking more accurately. Then on top of that, there's like another sensor you can buy that can help with even just more locomotion, even more sensing. Like that's the thing. The $1,000 bundle is actually like really cutting edge. Like it's like you can actually have a true almost one-to-one VR experience with it. It's expensive,
Mm-hmm. There actually is a 5. There are 6 options here. You can see there's another option to the right of the left column. And that final option is, no, I'm not interested in Half-Life. People just don't like Half-Life or just aren't interested in it. So that is another option. Moving on. Bluepoint Games is continuing to literally tease at their next title. Here's what they posted over the holiday break on Twitter. Quote, To classics we play, our blood, sweat, tears give thanks. To family and fans, eager you stay. Cheers rekindle flames, thanks. Today feast, tomorrow rest. Soon the beast freed from jest. Temptation we shun, then onto the next. We reset to further adorn the Genesis, an era reborn. So first off, the thing that immediately stuck out at me is reset era. Because it's so obvious that they are just playing with them now.
Yeah.
They're just dangling it in front of them because that's where this is all sort of centralized as far as like the speculation goes. But on top of that, I have to say I'm still getting very Soulsborne vibes from this.
This one definitely hit me Souls.
Yeah.
Not only
tears, flames, feast, beast, like
yes.
Yeah, it's very
all very synonym with that. And then essentially with an era reborn, you know, Demon Souls was the start of the Soulsborne era. Like, you know, like it makes sense.
It's true.
Me. Like, all right, like that's like the biggest one to me. I mean, not a lot of other things really kick out for it. The only other game that actually has even a chance here would be Legend of Dragoon. Would be, I think. Yes. Correct?
It's possible.
Yes. It's the only one there because of the other line, which was back in the other line there too. I'm trying to see which one it was. The Beast Freed from Jest, that was one. And the classics. That's like the only two that really kind of hit me with that one.
Mm-hmm. Family and fans, eager you stay. That kind of implies like this has been a long time coming, maybe. Like maybe older than Demon Souls, because Demon Souls in grand scheme of things isn't that old.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that old, which is why it makes it weird to the classics we play.
Yeah.
Temptation we shun is the one weird line here that I can't really quite figure out where it would hit.
Or maybe this all means nothing and they're just still messing with people.
You know what? They're playing like a damn fiddle.
Yeah. Goddamn fiddle. Moving on, we got our PS Plus and our games with gold for December. PS Plus will be Titanfall 2 and Monster Energy Supercross.
Wow.
PlayStation's got a thing with Monster Energy right now, don't they?
They do.
What's going on?
I don't know.
And on the Xbox side, games with gold, they have Insane Robots on Xbox One, Jurassic World Evolution on Xbox One, Toy Story 3 on Xbox 360, Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirrors of Fate HD on Xbox 360. I think the standouts here are Titanfall 2 and Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah.
But as we always do, which wins the month of December? Are you going with PS Plus having the better month or games with gold having the better month? I don't know. This one's tough. You get 4 games, of course, with games with gold, but Titanfall 2 was freaking great.
Yeah, it's weird though. I mean, Jurassic World Evolution was fun for me too. It's weird. I would say PlayStation Plus has like the more overall consistent package here, though I think Games with Gold has a little bit of a higher highlight. Does that make sense? Like
Jurassic World Evolution, you mean?
Jurassic World Evolution being
that game is a lot of fun. I like that game a lot.
It's a little bit of a newer game too. And then Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate is kind of the only weird one for me. I was like, really? That's the one that you're gonna put on there? Like not Lord of Shadows 1 and 2. You just did the
right
really weird.
It is weird, yeah.
2D Metrovania type one. It's just weird to me. I don't get it.
Just one vote, but Doom Turkey is saying he's going with games with gold this month.
All
Moving on from that, we got a little PSA for you guys. Square Enix is already starting to charge, or at least will in the next week, I believe, charge for 7 remake pre-orders, including the $350 or whatever it was First Class Edition. So just before Christmas, they are charging you.
Do you think that's cool?
Here's the thing. I don't want to like side with like the corporate entity here in any way, shape, or form, but at the same time, I do think it's a little weird that people are complaining about this, because if you're tight on cash now around the holidays, like maybe you shouldn't be getting a $350 thing next year, like in 2-3 months. And I get like, do what you want with your money, and in the end, like, I do think so they should have waited until after Christmas for this. But I do think if you are tight on cash now, Yeah, but maybe don't get the $350 first class edition.
It's kind of funny for me because when I saw people complain about that, I was like, if you're talking about like the regular like standard edition or deluxe edition of game where it's like they're charging that, I was like, that seems stupid to me, Square. Why are you doing that? But whenever it was like we're charging for the first like the first class edition, people were like freaking out. It was like, it's a limited edition thing. Like, I think it's great that they're doing that, so that way they don't overpromise and underdeliver, like with that type of stuff.
Well, they're doing this because of what was it recently that came back to bite them in the ass?
I forget what it was.
Was it Kingdom Hearts? Which one would it have been?
It would have either been Kingdom Hearts or it would have been Dragon Quest.
They're doing it for a reason. It's in response to something that kind of bit them in the ass with a previous release, and I think it was Kingdom Hearts. I think they could have waited a little bit longer, at least wait until after Christmas, so there's no complaints as far as, oh, you're hitting my bank account right before Christmas time. I think they could have done it in January, and I don't think people would have been quite as upset. I'm torn on this one. Like, I get it, I do, but at the same time, like, this is a $350 limited edition. If you're getting it like at any point, like you should have the funds for that, like always.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
but that's just me. Like, do what you want with your money. Like, that's just me personally. Like, in my opinion, like if this is causing you a problem now, you probably should never get the limited edition.
Right.
That's my opinion on it. Do what you want.
Do what you want. Just be smart about it.
Be smart with your money. Yeah.
Right.
Rockstar's next IP might take place during medieval times. Medieval times! Games Radar writes, new rumors suggest Rockstar Games could be working on a brand new IP for the next generation of consoles that's set in a European medieval time period. While most presume the acclaimed developer is working on GTA 6 for PS5 and Xbox Project Scarlet after its best-selling Western sequel released last year, a now edited LinkedIn post from Rockstar character artist, Pavas Saxena, point to Project Medieval. A title that was rumored to be shelved some years ago by the company is now back in active development. Saxena's description of his current projects at Rockstar previously revealed he was, quote, creating modular environmental pieces with organic finish, carefully following medieval architecture style. An additional new rumor on Reddit, which should be taken with far more than salt than the LinkedIn post, also claims that the medieval game will feature a heavy focus on sword fighting and one-to-one duels, which would mark a radical departure from Rockstar's usual focus on gunplay. So go ahead, Vince, tell me about this thing in Grand Theft Auto 5, in Red Dead Redemption 2 that would hint at this.
Okay, so spoiler alerts for the game. Like, this is actual spoilers.
Okay.
So I'm going to say this one more time. There are spoilers following here.
Is it going to spoil the end of the game or something?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
I guess I can't ask then.
Yeah.
I don't want to be spoiled on the end.
Essentially, there's plenty of references in the ending epilogue from a certain character that kind of hinted at this.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Here's a couple things too. So, if I remember the story correctly, there was a studio that Rockstar has developed that had either acquired or had brought into the development fold that was actually working on this project a couple years ago. So that's the reason I have this whole Project Medieval being a title that was rumored to be shelved some years ago by the company. It was that company that was working on when they acquired them and then said, you're going to stop doing this. You're going to become our asset creation for us for Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5, 6. That's where that's come from too. The other thing that's really weird about this too is we've now had a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance come out with a heavy focus on sword fighting and one-to-one duels. It feels weird that Rockstar would be chasing this type of game now. Like, considering Kingdom Come came and did a lot of systemic stuff that Red Dead 2 introduced.
What?
There, if that makes sense. It's weird to me that the timing of this has now come up again now with this being the thing that they're going to reveal for the next generation console.
Yeah.
Like that. That's the big thing that's weird to me. I was assuming that we would get Red Dead Redemption 2 HD remaster. In the middle generation, we would get GTA 6. And then this would be something that I would think that we would get, like we did with Red Dead Redemption 2 with this generation. It would be near the end if this shows up. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome, Raiders. We were talking about the rumored new IP from Rockstar. Asavera coming in with 14 viewers. Huge raid. Thank you for shouting. Asavera out. Derek. How was your stream, Asavera? What were you playing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to all the people coming in here. We got Hallman SA coming in, Inglorious Ramirez coming in the show here, and anybody else that's joining. Appreciate every single one of you. Kyle as well. Kylie, or is that Kyle? Kyle, welcome to the show. You guys are all awesome for being here. We got 46 people in the room now. It's amazing. Let's do a couple room spins for this. Let's do one for Asavera and one for hitting that big 4-0. First up, we've got 10 XP to the entire room, and for Asavera, we're going to do another 15 to the room. 25 XP to the entire room. That's our currency system here, our loyalty system. Asavera's moving too quickly here. What did she say? Did she say what she was playing?
Yeah, she said she was playing Death Garden and the Jackbox Party Pack.
Oh, Jackbox is so good. Which one? 6 is great. We've been playing it pretty often here. Push the Button is one of the best they've ever had in that series, in my opinion. Push the Button's just so good. So good. Oh, nice. She was playing 6. What was the one that you were sticking with tonight? What's your favorite, Asavera? From Jackbox Party Pack. Push the Button is our favorite. Yes. Push the Button's so good, especially if you can get your viewers on Discord. So good. It's amazing. Well, we're in our rapid fire news roundup. So we're going through the final stories of the night, but we do have an after show, actually. We have a 30-minute after show because we did hit our $30 goal tonight. And if we get another $22 in tips, we're going to do a 60-minute after show, which is all about talking with the chat. So don't go anywhere, Raiders. Even though the show is wrapping up very soon, we will be sticking around after that as well. We got 4 more stories to go through here. Next up, let's go back to the TV. There we go. Next up, Tony Hawk is working on a new pro skater game. This comes from, I can't remember her name. It's a female skater, pro skater, said that she will be in the next Tony Hawk game. And she was very clear on this. It wasn't like a past game or a rematch, like a new Tony Hawk game being created with Tony Hawk. Like,
good.
So if you guys don't remember, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 was a disaster. Like an absolute disaster. Almost broken game. So glitchy that it was the brunt of many jokes that year when it came out. So they have a lot to prove here, and hopefully they're choosing a different studio to make this one because they need to get away from those guys.
He wasn't even involved in that one, was he? Like, it was just the licensing of the name.
Yeah.
Was he? Okay.
I mean, licensing, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But he's involved with this one, according to this Pro Skater. So, I mean, I still say like Tony Hawk 1 and 2 to this day are still great. Yep. So there's a good series to tap into there.
There is, especially if you just market it appropriately. You make it to where it's not cumbersome and zany. You don't need to make it skate. Don't make it skate. Be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Be fun. Be arcadey. Have fun with it.
Yeah, I definitely see a split on that. There are a lot of people saying what you're saying to stay arcadey, and there are a lot of people saying go skate direction. So it's interesting. It's definitely a divide there. I'm not sure which way I would go, honestly. But I think that there's a chance that maybe the old arcadey style is just something from the past and something that is we have like rose tinted glasses on a little bit, maybe. And I'm not saying that with certainty, just like speculating. Like I wonder if that could be the case.
It's just weird for identity's sakes. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Stadia is potentially overheating your Chromecast Ultra units.
Please don't.
So I don't even get how this is possible. Like, isn't the Chromecast just like a delivery method for video? Like, how is this thing? I've heard like this thing is getting so hot, like that if it's being held against like cheap plastic, it will melt that plastic.
I just don't get that either. Like, I mean, like, what? How is the signal overcoming? Because you're right, it is a delivery method that is taking it from your router and whatnot, and it is taking a stream there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I mean, so there's definitely an encoding process and a decoding. I mean, there's definitely a process there. What is causing that spike? Because I mean, Netflix 4K should be causing that much of an issue too. Then it's
and like weren't the Chromecast Ultra units like developed with Stadia in mind essentially? Isn't that like I know that's not why they exist, but Stadia has been in development for a while, and the Chromecast Ultra units haven't been around that long. So wouldn't they like sort of plan for this to an extent?
Well, I wonder if there was a revision that we don't know about that from the original. And I'm wondering if someone's actually done that research, like for these overheating units, are these first batch, second batch ones, and then are these like fourth or fifth batch devices, are they the ones with a slight little revision in mind that they didn't think was going to be an issue, which is now coming to bite them in the ass?
Yeah. I don't know. See. Steam, the controller is being discontinued.
Wow.
And they're actually canceling orders on it. Like, even if you have one like ordered, they're canceling it, I think. I read. So they had like sales in this thing as cheap as $5 recently, but I think they probably ran out of the batch. It was like the final batch, the final production batch, and those ones were going for $5, as cheap as that, and they probably are out of those, and now they're canceling orders. So yeah, the Steam controller is done.
That's weird. I have mine right here that I've used maybe once.
What do you think of it? I've heard people say it's a great controller.
You know what's funny? It has those paddles on the back that we talk about that would be perfect for like what we should have in the regular controllers now. Like they have like that back paddle. The thing that I don't like, and this is me, is the controller. I don't know if you could tell from that video, the controller concaves up from the handles.
Okay.
So like instead of it being like where like you know, like a DualShock 4, you know how like the handles kind of go downwards?
Right.
This goes upwards. So for me, my thumbs and everything like that, like where my thumb pads are and everything like that, I can't hold the controller comfortably. So like I almost have to do like this whole like it's weird. Now the track pads though, that was a whole different thing. Like that was weird, but once you get used to it, it's actually really intuitive. You actually don't lose that much tracking. The triggers and everything like that are standard.
Okay.
You know, they're nothing too crazy. The buttons are a little small for me. They kind of feel like an afterthought, and the analog stick is way too stiff for my likes. But yeah, the trackpads are definitely interesting once you get used to it. But that's also, there's some weird software there. Like it can get buggy sometimes. I've had certain games where they get supposed to support it and it doesn't even work. Like it's weird. I don't get it. But I've only used mine like once.
Just looking at it, I think I would absolutely hate it, but I can't say for sure. Final story of the rapid fire news roundup. Cyberpunk 2077 has entered, quote, the final stage of development, but it will be shorter than Witcher 3, but more replayable than Witcher 3.
Seeing some of the reactions behind all this was kind of hysterical to me. Like, how can it be short in Witcher 3? Does that mean it's being rushed? Why are they rushing the game?
Witcher 3 is unbelievably massive. So, I mean, that really doesn't say much with how you could put 150 hours easily into Witcher 3 if you want to. Like, do we really need Cyberpunk 2077 to be 150 hours long?
No, and that's the thing too that I think people need to understand. Quality is more important than quantity. And that's the thing that I don't think people are quite understanding about Cyberpunk 2077 from even the videos that I've watched, is that this isn't a open world RPG to where you just kind of do a couple things and congratulations, moving the story on. They want to have this big branching different approach gameplay story from how your character is built to how your character makes decisions to how you make decisions. Like they want that entire thing there. So that automatically limits your scope a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to incorporate every choice being something serious, you can't keep developing until we get into AI assisted development with that type of stuff. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. I mean, I think people need to really pump the brakes on the reactions on this and be like, wait a minute.
Right now, I'm like not really feeling anything towards Cyberpunk, but I'm sure once like we get closer to it, I'll start getting excited again.
As long as they don't delay it again.
Yeah, which is what I just asked in the chat. We got one for each, it looks like here. One saying no delays and one saying it'll be delayed until late 2020 for Drock. I still think there's a chance it gets delayed.
Here's my thing that I thought was interesting, that they said that they were not doing anything with the new consoles. As in like for Cyberpunk 2077. They were not doing anything with that.
I don't believe you.
Right. It was one of those things like, I don't believe you, but it's also kind of weird how you actually have to say that out loud right now. Like, huh.
Interesting. I hope it doesn't get delayed, but at the same time, take as much time as you need. I mean, at this point, it's been like 9 years since you announced the game, so might as well delay it a couple more months.
I would be okay with a short delay, like back in June, because I think Witcher 3 was supposed to come out in like March or something like that.
I have no idea. Yeah.
And then it got it was out like the third or fourth delay of the game. They pushed it back to June, and I think it just worked.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. The cool thing about that game though is it's gonna be awesome. Is like they're gonna say midnight release in their country, so it'll be like 4 p.m. or something like that for us. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. I think once I'm past like 7 remake, and now that Last of Us is not happening in February, I'll start getting excited for Cyberpunk after 7 remake is out, and I'm probably done it. Then I'll be like, all right, cool. Now I can get excited for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But right now, like 7 remake is everything. That's all I care about. I need to play that freaking game. I'm so excited. And that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet, Snake.
Okay.
It's not over yet. We have after show after this for 30 minutes, at the least 60 minutes if we can get that $60 goal. So to anybody who's not sticking around for after show, thank you for being here. We had a great show. $38 in tips, 11 subs. We got a follow coming in from Outcast.
You can eat my dirty asshole with a spoon. Because I
thank you for the spoon fed. Appreciate it. So great show. Thank you so much for all the support. Anybody who is heading out and hasn't yet hit that follow button, if you're new here and you enjoy the show, please hit that follow button. Become a part of the community. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live on Wednesdays with Variety Gaming, on Saturdays with our show here, the Level Up Show. And this coming Wednesday, I'll probably do some more Death Stranding. Vince is a streamer as well. Agent Vincent 4756 in the chat. There he is in the chat. Everybody give him that follow. What are you streaming this week, Vince?
I'll be continuing Star Wars.
Nice.
The other thing that we might be getting into is Dota 2?
Interesting.
Mark?
Yeah, interesting choice for you.
We've had a small little minor discussion on the stream chats about finding a anchor for the stream, for one game that could be constantly played on the stream that could bring in people to see just that one game. And I wanted something that was going to be competitive, something that was ranked, something that was just there. And Dota 2/League was kind of the ones that were thrown to me a little bit. And I'd rather put my support behind Dota 2 because, not saying League's a bad game, just Riot Games with some of their hierarchy issues is kind of the only thing that's kind of bugging me about that a little bit. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Cool. Everybody give Vince that follow. And that is it for us. Those that are going to be here for after show, we will see you in a little bit. To all those not sticking around or watching on YouTube, we will see you throughout the week with gaming talk shows and game streams. Until next time, take care. And as always, don't forget to
level up.